Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if godlike Rick could in Naruto Highschool DxD Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Pain. That was the first thing Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze felt when he regained a consciousness state. Groaning at the pain he felt as he slowly sat up in a bed. Naruto scanned around his surroundings with his vision blurry. He knew from the lack of bleach and other strong cleaners he wasn't in a hospital. Plus his clothes and armor are stored away after taking too much damage during his long fight with Kaguya. Memories rushed back to where he was fighting the 5 nations after he successfully took back the Bijou in order to free them from Kaguya and the nations. But after the final clash between him and the nations, it all went blank. He supposed his time/space technique did save him if he was still alive and breathing now. But as for where he is, that is a puzzle he will have to solve later. Pushing himself up, Naruto groaned as his muscles were still tender, sore most likely from the wounds he received. Letting his chakra flow through him and changing it to medical chakra. Naruto slowly dulled the pain as he sat up and heard the sounds of birds chirping. Blinking to clear his vision, Naruto scanned the room around him and saw it was a very bare room, hardly anything other than the bed he is sitting on, a few paintings, and a chair with clothes on it. A simple set of jeans and a black shirt on the chair. Naruto activated his eagle vision to get a view of his surroundings till he saw a trail of faint blue mist going to the door. The trail is faded, but it still lingers. It's clear I am in someone's home, Naruto thought as he pushed himself up. Looking around, Naruto saw a window at the other side of his room and walked over to it. When he opened the cretin, Naruto's eyes slightly widened at the more modern appearance of the world. Sure, it was night time, but Naruto's vision wasn't affected by the lack of light. Plus, this is something his world never really had, plus the fact this world almost looked like his ancestors' Desmond's time. He could faintly hear the cars driving in the distance. Naruto knew with certain time/space techniques one could visit another parallel world or even go back in time. Old man sage, I am not in the elemental nations anymore, Naruto thought his disbelief. He had read the records of his clansmen or women hopping dimensions thanks to a certain Fuinjutsu formula, but the formula was so complex not even Naruto understood it yet. But his technique didn't have that type of formula, unless those one annoying Uchihas called Sasuke dumbly used Kamui on him, and that interfered with his time/space technique, thus casing a tear in space and time, making him end up here. Naruto rubbed his head, trying to banish the headache of coming up with theories when he clearly just survived an onslaught of a war. He knew he activated the Yin-Yang Annihilation Seal before pulling off his time/space technique. So anything that was left back at his home are now gone. The Yin-Yang Annihilation Seal is basically a bomb that releases pure Yin-Yang chakra, destroying anything caught in the blast. Depending on how much chakra the seal can draw in before going critical and going off. If Naruto wanted to compare it to anything, it was basically what people would call an antimatter bomb. It is just a pure energy blast that destroys everything and anything within the blast radius. So even if he lost his home, whatever they were going try to find is now gone. Looking at his arms, Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. He had packed all his important things within the tribal seals on his forearms. Tapping on his seal on his left forearm, Naruto looked and was able to see all his things in place. From his clan's treasures, secrets, armor, weapons, and knowledge to everything he ever learned and found out. All his things are here and accounted for. He would really hate to lose his things. Plus he did pack up his things and sealed them on his body before going to war. If he was going to die in that battle, then his secrets would have died with him. After finding all his stuff is accounted for, Naruto got up and put on his own clothes by summoning them from his Fuinjutsu seal on his arm, thus leaving the clothes left for him alone. Since he is in an unknown home, he would only rely on his stealth and assassin skills. Bring out his weapons were not really needed as he felt only 2 life forces thanks to his passive Senjutsu chakra, which his body naturally gathers on its own. Going to the door, Naruto felt different, like his body is slightly lighter, and his chakra has expanded slightly. There was also another pool of energy within him. It felt different, similar to chakra, but it was strange. He also felt much stronger than he was before. Odd, seeing he was half primordial and half human before everything went south and his clan home was literally blown off the face of the earth. Canceling his eagle's vision, Naruto slowly opened the door to find a darkened hallway. Naruto made his way silently towards the stairs and descended down them without making a sound. He looked at the modest home and admired some of the artwork. He stopped moving when he felt something trip his senses. Someone had woken up from the same floor he was resting on. Quickly slipping into the shadows, Naruto stayed partly hidden, hoping to see he treated his wounds and kept him under their roof. Normally someone's common reaction is to take the wounded to the hospital, but whoever these two are didn't. Naruto blinked when he expanded his senses when these two beings that were in this house felt well different. Naruto couldn't place it, but it didn't really feel human. It felt odd, something he never sensed before. He knew they were there, but they felt like something he never encountered. He had no idea who they were or what they are, but it seems they were clearly different than normal people. That much Naruto could figure out. Naruto paid more attention to these beings' energy, which one of them seemed very similar to the new pool of power swirling within Naruto. The other person's energy was completely different in nature and how it felt. One felt tainted while the other felt dark. Odd, Naruto thought, having never encountered something like this before. Clearly this world had its own person with some kinda special internal energy. But what it is and what it can do is clearly something Naruto had no knowledge of. He would have to ask these beings when they wake up. Until then, Naruto would investigate a bit farther about this home. Can you hear me, child? Naruto blinked at the voice that popped into his head. The Bijou were well asleep for the most part till they recovered their powers, which would take decades since they are reforming within him. So it couldn't be either of them, and the Shinju's voice has been silent since he had slayed Kagaya. So who could have the power to speak to him even with his mental barriers up? So, who are you? Naruto thought with eyes narrowed. Before he had to focus on the person in the kitchen and hide from the light. He would use his chakra to hide or even disappear, but he couldn't risk such a thing, no, when he doesn't know where he is nor the abilities of the man in the kitchen. The person with the tainted energy groans as Naruto heard him talk to himself about the Lucifer girl and how she was a pain sometimes. Lucifer girl? What does he mean by that? Naruto thought as he quietly listened in. After hearing the man complain about minor things, Naruto walked out of the hidden little area and waiting for the man to notice him. Naruto was studying the man, taking in every detail about his build to determine if he was a threat. The man was fairly rough looking. He is a tall man appearing to be in his 20s with an average build, black hair, golden bangs and black goatee. He is wearing a simple white sleeping shirt and pajama pants. His skin is fairly dark, suggesting he was born with that tone of skin or spends a lot of time in the sun. He was also at least 6'3", a full 2 inches taller than Naruto. The man turned around with a sigh and blinked in surprise at looking at Naruto, whom was staring at him impassively with a studying gaze. The man also took into detail about Naruto's build and stature. Naruto had his waist-length hair in a low ponytail, as his vibrant silver shaggy spiky hair seems to shine with a healthy glow. 2 bangs framing his face much like his father Minato, though his hair was a bit less spiky. 3 scar-like lines go across his face like whiskers, with 3 on each cheek. Naruto's sharp sapphire crystal blue eyes lack a pupil and sparkled like stars in the night sky. His skin tone is a healthy tan, suggesting he spent a lot of time out in the sun. His angled face and body has little to no baby fat, and is mostly lean muscle like a swimmer's body. Naruto trained his body to be built for speed, endurance, agility, strength, and flexibly. He then had on a black skin-tight umbu shirt that showed every curve of his chiseled chest without leaving anything to the imagination. Though the skin-tight umbu shirt had one special feature on all of his others. One. This shirt was hard and tough like diamond, yet lighter, and doesn't restrict any of his movement. Around his neck hangs his Assassin Creed symbol, Hashirama's necklace, and an amulet locket. Black combat boots that come up to his lower calf. These boots are armored with hardened leather and looks very much like the boots Altair used. 4 pants. Naruto got umbu black cargo pants to maximize the amount of items he can carry. The pants were also tucked into his boots so they wouldn't get caught in any unknown traps. Over Naruto's skin-tight umbu shirt, Naruto had on a long-sleeved black thermal shirt. Over that, Naruto had on a thin cotton v-neck midnight blue shirt. For the finishing touches, Naruto has on a cloak he has been wearing, only he modified it a bit. He removed the sleeves of the cloak to lighten the weight a bit, as he will be weighted down by armor. The cloak Naruto has on is a dark faded bluish gray, along with a dark gray umbu grade chest armor that is tight around his whole torso, hugging him tightly as the cloak remains under the leather armor. Naruto then ties a crimson silk cloth around his waist and ties it with the excess flowing down on his right side. He takes 3 black leather belts and attaches them at different angles. One belt holds his tomahawk and tanto, another holds 15 throwing knives, and the last holds his shuriken pouch with 3 other scrolls, with each scroll being a different color. Naruto then takes several of his own explosive tags, smoke bombs, rope darts, poison darts, anything he can carry on his person. He straps Death's Phantom onto his back along with Reiju, his own Uzumaki blade. Putting on his umbu bracer's armor with the hidden blades attached to the said armor. As a precaution, Naruto puts on fingerless black gloves that are studded at the knuckles. He is currently wearing a face mask that hides the lower half of his face, much Kakashi whom taught him Chidori. Who are you? Naruto asked with a monotone voice, curious too what this man is or his goal. The man across from Naruto had a face of disbelief and utter joy, something that Naruto caught, but what was curious, why? Amazing, it worked. It was just a prototype, but it did bring you back, the man said with a smile. Pride and joy danced in his eyes. Naruto looked at the man, confused written all over his face. What? Naruto thought, trying to recall if he was that badly injured during the nation's attack on his home. But it all came up blank as the final attack he launched, and activating the Fuinjutsu seal were the last things he remembers. What do you mean? Who are you? Where am I? Naruto asked a series of questions, only to see the rougher-looking man raise his hand, a gesture for Naruto to slow down. Easy, kid, I will answer any questions you have, but first let's introduce ourselves. My name is Azazel. The now named Azazel introduced himself. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Naruto introduced himself in kind. Azazel motioned Naruto to join him at the dining table, which Naruto took slowly, on edge about the part of something bring him back. Naruto's mind raced to figure out what Azazel meant, but only came up with that he was very, very, very close to dying, and Azazel used something to bring Naruto back from death's door. That or Naruto did die for a brief moment before being brought back. Azazel, however, nodded to Naruto's name. It was a strong name for a male. Maelstrom of the whirling tides and waving winds. Sounds like this kid is the son of two major storms coming together to become a superstorm, Azazel thought as he sat down and grinned at Naruto with a pleasing expression. To start off, kid, I found you on death's door. Hell, you could have been dead. Anyway, I used one of my research prototypes to revive you. Though it was the only one I ever created, it seems to have done its job nicely by bringing you back, Azazel said, taking a moment to see if Naruto had any questions, but the look the boy given him was mature and calm. Naruto only motioned for Azazel to continue his tale, or explain things farther. Naruto was hoping to understand if Azazel could explain more. Using my knowledge on sacred gears, I was able to make a prototype of what devils used, though I haven't named it yet. It's similar to their evil peerage system, which allows them to reincarnate people into new devils. With my faction I lead, known as Grigori. I and now the newer you are fallen angels, being whom fell from heaven in grace. My prototype was made to reincarnate people into fallen angels, thus not needing to make other angels from heaven fall to increase our numbers and avoid being the worst of the three factions, Azazel said, keeping a smile on his face, proud his prototype worked while answering two of Naruto's questions. After taking this in, Naruto pushed forth a question. No offense, Azazel, but I don't believe in God. But I can tell you're not lying. So could you prove to me you're a fallen angel and tell me about these so-called three factions? Naruto pushed forward, wanting to get to more information out of the man. He wasn't calling Azazel a liar, but he needed to be cautious about how he said things. This man clearly is hiding a lot of his power from what Naruto can sense. And with him emotion-sensing abilities, Naruto knew the man wasn't lying. Azazel smirked as 12 jet black wings unfolded and spread wide and proud in the dining room, proving Azazel was not a human but a fallen angel. Naruto's eyes widened at this. While there were no gods, goddess, devils, or angels in his old world, there was Kagaya and the Shinju, as they were the closet things to a primordial being and a goddess in his world. One was the so-called goddess of chakra and the other was a primordial of death, life, destruction, creation, and etc. But in this world there are apparently devils, angels, and fallen angels. Well, shit, Naruto said with somewhat a surprised look. Thirdly, we are in one of my houses located in Japan. After bringing you here and dressing your wounds, you were asleep for 3 days at the most, Azazel informed where Naruto is currently. Naruto nodded at this. Some of the buildings didn't look American, German, or even European. Japan or China was one of his guesses. You have wings too, Azazel said, adding that little fact in as Naruto blinked as he imagined his wings coming out. 12 pitch black wings unfolded and spread out proud across the other man with 12 wings. Naruto blinked in surprise as the wings felt completely natural, like a limb, or something completely natural to his current body. Naruto even moved them as he smiled at the feeling. Azazel's expression was one of surprise and shock. His eyes could be seen scanned over Naruto's own wings multiple times to make sure his eyes weren't lying to him. T12WW wings, Azazel mumbled in shock as he stumbled over his words. He figured it would have worked like the evil peerage system the devils had, but this is completely unexpected turn of events. Either this kid was already powerful enough before he was turned into a fallen angel to have 12 wings, or his prototype had an unknown effect on the young man. Azazel himself is the only fallen angel with 12 wings, well, until this kid showed up. I take it that having 12 wings isn't normal, Naruto asked with a curious expression. While he took pride in his power, he is a trained shinobi and an assassin of an order. Power and rank meant nothing if someone had the tools, wits, plans, or skills to counter what you could throw and then turn them against you to kill you. Azazel straightened himself out and got serious a bit. Alright. The angels and fallen angels go by how many wings one has. The more wings one has, the more powerful the person. The max number of wings any fallen or angel can have is 12. You and I are the only fallen with the maximum number of wings, Azazel said in a slightly serious tone. Naruto nodded as that made sense. But he had no use for the wings since he couldn't fly. Well, that was a lie. He could fly, but he didn't want to go into his Uzumaki Chakra mode or his Rikudo Sannin mode, which he had the same godly powers that Hagoromo had. It was only the fact he had a lack of knowledge how to use his newly acquired wings. Azazel seemed to rub his goatee in thought before he grinned. Tell you what, I will offer you to join me. You only know what I told you so far. I will teach you how to fight and survive in this world. With the amount of power you're given off, it would be bad if you didn't know how to use your fallen angel powers to their full potential. Also, you will need to learn about the supernatural world, seeing as you just became a part of it, Azazel said as Naruto looked deep in thought. The more Naruto thought about things, the more he realized he didn't have many good or pleasing choices laid out for him. Stuck in an unknown world, now as a fallen angel with powers he isn't used to, died or was nearly dead then brought back to life, has no way to identify himself with this newer world, could not possibly blend in with normal humans due to the supernatural presence, he couldn't contact any of the Bijou whom were still reforming within him after he beat Kagaya. Plus he had limited information on these factions. And going back to the elemental nations is not an opinion. They hunted him down after he beat and killed the said goddess of chakra and her powers becoming his own, though he has not mastered her powers. They wanted their weapons back, but Naruto did not give them the Bijou. They weren't things to be given away. Naruto found himself frowning. I take it fallen angels aren't popular with any factions across this world? Naruto asked incuriously. Yeah, he could very well try and blend in with the world, but it would be hard to make a newer identity when he wasn't from this world. Plus the fact this world has better technology than his old home world. So that also would be an issue he would have to confront to live a normal life. Which he highly doubts will ever happen. Sadly no, our kind isn't too well liked by anyone. There are always strays and rouges that betray my orders and go against them for lust, greed, or something. Honestly, there are very few fallen angels in Grigori that even I trust. Azazel frowned thinking about his kind. While he hated to admit it, he had to order some of the higher ranks to take out the strays of their little group. They are the weakest faction out of the three in terms of numbers or powerful members. And that doesn't include the other factions in this world. Naruto sighed as he nodded. It was his best bet to fit in, plus he wanted to slightly know how to use his wings. Sure, he could manipulate the gravity around him allowing him to fly, but that will get noticed really quick maybe. It's best if he acts like a normal fallen angel and fly with his wings. Hiding a major amount of his abilities and deceiving his foes are his best bet. He had no idea what this world contained other than devils and angels from the limited information Azazel has just given him. Azazel grinned brightly at the chance to have a newer seraph in his faction. While it was a great boon, he still needed to test Naruto on his skills. A spa would be best, but that could wait till the morning or later date. He had at least 6 to 8 months before anything important came up. Plus the fact there was too much information for Naruto to learn about the factions with a year time frame. It would at least take 3 to 4 years for him to master anything Azazel has in mind. He would use this time to train Naruto how to use his abilities. Well, rest up, kid. I will have our training start tomorrow, Azazel said with a friendly smile. If it's alright, I'd rather get my bearings and explore the area around me. I will return before you wake up, Naruto said, already wanting to get out of the house and get some fresh air. He was never good sitting still unless he was working on something, reading, writing a new seal, or eating. He always had to do something unless it was sleep. Sure, just don't do anything stupid. Be careful though when wandering around and avoid trouble. This area is owned by a devil clan and I'd rather them not be aware I am here, Azazel said, waving the younger fallen angel off. Something told Azazel to trust this boy. Besides, if he didn't sense Naruto when he walked down the stair, then this kid is already good at hiding himself. Naruto nodded, having no problem maintaining a low profile. Outside, Naruto inhaled the fresh air, enjoyed the cool chill in the air. In this world, the winter solstice, or Xmas, must happening in this world, Naruto thought as he saw a few decorations around the area. He could feel the lack of negative emotions, though he was slightly disturbed at the lack of Senjutsu chakra. There wasn't a whole lot of Senjutsu chakra to passively collect, and the amount he did collect is filled with malice and hatred. And while Naruto isn't bothered by it all that much thanks to him accepting his own darker self, plus the fact he was able to face both Black Zetsu and the Kagaya enraged Jubi head-on. Both beings has so much hatred, anger, fury, and wrath in their being, he wouldn't be surprised if their souls were blacker than any known sin he has committed himself. He feels disappointed and sad that nature, once his natural comfort and connection to the mother nature of his world, has now become a hate-filled entity that would corrupt any whom takes in her essence. What has happened to nature for so much anger and hate to accumulate? It's like an infection with a cancerous effect, growing and spreading like some kinda uncontrollable cancer. Naruto wondered as he pondered on this. Nature's energy felt disgusting and awful. If not only was trying to drive him mad, while that won't happen, he could feel it. Nature's essence flowing into his body passively like a greedy parasite hungering for food. Again, while he was not bothered by it all that much, it caused Naruto to be uneasy and worried if anyone was dumb enough to take in this energy without the correct course of training. No doubt they would go mad and become a mindless, mad-filled killing machine till they themselves are killed. Naruto thought for a moment. He would have to talk to Azazel about this after their training session. Naruto would have to meditate for a long period of time for the essence of this nature chakra not to affect him horribly. But the practice and principle or method should still be the same. Otherwise his body wouldn't draw in Senjutsu chakra. But for now Naruto had another goal in mind to complete. Keeping to the shadows, Naruto walked around looking for the highest point in the immediate area to gain a bird's eye view. And while Naruto sealed his weapons away hidden from public, he was still dressed in his outfit and armor. He did have them on him in case something happen. Plus he would only use his chakra sabers, chakra variant of lightsaber, if anything happened. The highly advanced design of the seals bring to life a plasma-like sword hot enough to cut or burn though anything. Naruto made these too when he was only 15 while he was exploring the nations with Jiraiya, whom became few of his precious people. The chakra sabers' names are Heaven's Darkness and Hell's Light. Generic, yes, but they are meant to be a symbol of his connection to both yin and yang, and how without one the other would be incomplete. And without both you would be blind or worse to the beauty and horrors of the world. But that was a story for another time. First Naruto needed to scope out the area and get familiar with his surroundings. He would use his chakra sensing abilities to a greater extent, but that required him using his chakra or nature chakra. And he didn't know if beings of this world could sense chakra. So he kept his power suppressed to a certain level. He was going to play it safe and hope no trouble comes his way. Knock on wood. Walking down the darkened alleyway, Naruto enjoyed his calm soothed stroll, taking in the sights and sounds. Naruto stopped for a moment when he felt someone behind him. Turning around, Naruto looked to see no one was there, despite the fact Naruto could hear a racing heartbeat somewhere near him. Blinking, Naruto sighed silently as he continued his journey across the unknown city he is in. He spots a person and with his sensor abilities can tell it's what appears to be a human. Naruto couldn't really tell, these person lack a chakra system or ever some kind energy like Azazel. He could sense the soul or life force of that being, but there was no chakra whatsoever. Humans of this dimension must not have any kind of supernatural ability. They must depend on their ability to adapt technology. Then Naruto mused, thinking of this person whom seems normal in the terms of not being able to use chakra or any other form of energy. But Naruto could be rightfully wrong in those regards. He would have to endure my lectures. Great. Continuing his walk, Naruto scanned the area with a studying gaze, committing every turn and route to memory. Naruto sighed as he continued this routine for about 30 minutes till he heard a voice behind him. Turning around, Naruto saw a teenage girl rubbing her head. Ouch, that really hurt, the girl said, rubbing her head. Are you okay? The girl heard a mature yet calming voice behind her. Looking, the brunette saw a man dressed in armor and clothing she was not familiar with. It almost looked like he was wearing some kind of foreign battle robes. Is he one of those cosplayers? The girl asked, rubbing her nose, studying the male. She was slightly confused why he was wearing a mask that covered the bottom half of his face. Hi. I just tripped. Thanks for asking, the girl said. Naruto said his name. Offering his hand to help the girl up, Naruto waited as she became less dizzy. Huh. Oh, nice to meet you, Naruto. I am Aoyuki. The girl got up and bowed politely. Naruto's sweat dropped as he retracted his hand to help the girl. People of this world are becoming strange to me, Naruto thought as he watched the girl fidget slightly. Before bowing and excusing herself after she thanked him, she swiftly turned around and walked off, leaving the master assassin to ponder what just happened. Sighing, Naruto started his track back to Azazel's house, making sure he isn't followed. Month later. Naruto is panting as he just got done with an intense sparring session with Azazel. Ha, that's 18 wins out of 20 losses. I am catching up. Azazel pumped his arm, flexing the muscle. He hasn't had this much fun since he teased Michael and Gabriel about marriage. Man, he loved messing with Gabriel and Michael. Those two were so easy to prank and tease. Naruto glared at the older fallen angel as his wings folded back up and out of sight. Keep it up, that ego will be all that much sweeter when I crush it, Naruto said with a sharp tone. Ever since Naruto had started training under Azazel, they only did one thing during each session: go all out, but Naruto had a restriction that he couldn't use chakra. While he wasn't bothered by this learning to use magic, it's incredibility hard. With his chakra, Naruto had perfect control and easily could best Azazel, as he was using the energy that was intertwined with his being and soul. However, magic was completely different and worked like chakra. It was hard to control and use, but at least Naruto could form several different weapons fueled by his light-based magic. He found out, though studying with his clones and learning under Azazel, that there is a lot of things magic can do. It was just like chakra, but chakra couldn't make people immortal, bind someone's soul to do your binding, or ever completely erase someone's memories. Magic was sorta scary with all the crazy shit it can do. He learned there are tiers of magic ranging from tier 1 to tier 100. These tiers can also be viewed as levels. More often than not, the most useful ones Naruto found are simple tier 1 magic spells, also known as signs, with a group called witchers used to hunt monsters. While the more simple spells are very easy to learn, they are often overlooked, while Naruto mouth watered at the signs. These signs were Naruto's goal to master before master any other form of magic other than his own light magic. The signs Ard and Igni could be used for more than simple fighting. Same could be said for the other signs. But also Naruto had a hard time with his newer abilities and magic. Magic, to sum it up, was causing him a splitting headache. Not only that, but the lessons in using his wings, information about the factions, and anything in particular was annoying. Lucky for Naruto, he was able to hire himself as a somewhat of a mercenary, doing odd jobs in the human world, thus bringing in his own funds. Thanks to a contact whom is in the USA, Naruto was able to hide the fact he was from another world and he was a fallen angel thanks to Azazel's training and guidance. Though Naruto didn't like the fact he had to depend on Azazel for help. But that was quickly fixed as he went to a gambling ring in Los Angeles, California, when Azazel had to meet a friend. He was able to win about $10 million by the end of it, but he was labeled as the Devil's Charm as he never lost a bet nor a match. Since then, he had been the target of mafia men for a while. But they can't find, as Naruto does not contain any sort of record other than a phone number to contact him. No birth certificate, no place of origin, no records to arrest, and no records of him ever living anywhere. He was off the grid in the most extreme way other than his phone number. Not bad, Naru, you've been able to learn how to flying like the best of yous in 2 weeks. You're even faster than me in regards to speed both on land and in the air. But your magic still needs a lot of work. I broke you light spear, light sword, and light halberd at least a dozen times already, Azazel said, rubbing his goatee again, thinking of Naruto's next step in training his abilities. Truthfully, Naruto only needed to learn how to fly, but the lad was dead set on learning his fallen abilities and mastering them. Magic, spells, and other sorts of things was the thing Naruto was focused on, though he wasn't a fully turned fallen like Azazel expected. Nonetheless, Naruto was already on par with both him, Michael, and Surzek in terms of power, but that isn't only when he goes all out. He was a half primordial and half human. Something that caused a shiver to go down Azazel's spine. Primordials, beings whom existed before time was time and predated every single god/goddess ever born. Their simple thoughts could have slaughtered thousands if not a million other races across creation, and no god or deity would be able to stop them. Not even the god whom created him would be a match for a primordial. It was up to another primordial to keep the others in check, which from his research they did so without wars, fights, or complaining. This boy was half human, half primordial at the time before his revival. Now he is half fallen and half primordial, and there is no telling of how much farther Naruto can go in terms of power. Before Azazel brought the boy back, he sensed the boy's power and was in awe at the raw amount of power coursing through his veins. A demi-primordial who had the potential to become a god on his own terms, or at least gain godlike powers. It marveled the seraph fallen at Naruto's own physiology. He had stronger and better senses, strength, speed, agility, endurance, and etc. compared to any demigod Azazel has met or seen. He also can correctly control his own power he called chakra to a perfect degree and unleash superhuman feats even demigods couldn't do. Not only that, he could control several different elements, and use elements Azazel has never seen before. He was not bound to the domains that their parents had control over or represented. Naruto was completely free to become stronger than himself, which made the older fallen angel actually push himself into training a bit more. Naruto was also helping Azazel in regards to creating something similar to the evil peace system. With the help of Naruto, Azazel suspected the first set to be done in 3 years. Also, the fact Naruto is teaching Azazel some fuinjutsu, or to at least understand it better. It truly baffled the Elder Fallen how Naruto was able to create so many things with these seals. The fact he came from a war-torn world only made Azazel interested in Naruto's story, which Naruto explained some of his past that he had no problem telling. I.e. the villages, ranks, and etc., including the Fourth Shinobi War, including when the nations attacked him. Oh yes, Azazel knew about Naruto's past, and the younger Seraph had shared enough for Azazel to trust him greatly. The boy was able to befriend and gain the trust of the primordial being from his world and kill a woman hell-bent on enslaving everyone. And with this Kagaya's woman disappearance, Naruto was able to gain another of the Shinju fruit, as he called it. The first one was implanted into him by experimentation. This case the numbering effects on not just his genetics but everything. As these two godlike beings clashed, Naruto won in the end but was critically injured. After a couple days of the battle and the fourth shinobi war, the 5 nations attacked Naruto at his base, which was his clan's homeland. Despite being injured, Naruto put up a fight and showed why he was the only one able to go toe-to-toe with this Kagaya. The rest Azazel can pretty much guess. Azazel was able to save Naruto by using the prototype piece, thus turning Naruto's human half into a fallen angel. And while Naruto's power is godlike on some level, he could still die like a human. But with his regeneration healing factor, it made him somewhat hard to kill. But at the time Azazel found the young master assassin, he was pretty much dead. A harsh lesson, but it pushed Naruto harder to protect these Bijou whom slept inside Naruto, recovering from Kagaya's own assault on them, or something similar in nature. Though he found it disturbing if not creepy, Naruto could, if he wanted, change his sex from male to female at will. And it wasn't a simple transformation either like he originally thought when he saw it a second time. He could actually get pregnant like that, which made the poor older fallen lose his lunch for a couple of days. Alright, Naruto, ready for another round? Azazel asked. The hybrid of ancient being and fallen nods as he got into a stance and spread his wing out proudly. All 12 pitch black wings suck any of the light around them. Second month. Naruto is currently looking over his Fuinjutsu notes and data on the prototype piece Azazel has gained, though he researched. The fact Naruto and Azazel in a partnership was able to make a breakthrough, combining Fuinjutsu, runes, and magic, thus allowing all sorts of limitless possibilities to be available. Though a breakthrough, Naruto and Azazel had to extensively research this newfound art and understand that one false place rune, one stroke of the brush, or even the wrong amount of magical energy could cause a large explosion. While Naruto wasn't helping Azazel with his research, training, hanging out with the girls, studying, or even exploring the city/country, Naruto would often meditate to adapt his body and mind to this world's nature chakra. Being able to feel the weight of nature's hatred, malice, rage, and other powerful negative emotions, Naruto was able to soothe her pain, so to speak, or at least adapt to handle it better. He spent at least a week solid taking nature chakra into his body, bearing the weight of nature's wrath. It wasn't easy, as the longer he went on, the more he felt like it was crushing him. But he endured for both their sake. As he hates the fact, it was hard for him not to be connected to nature. He had no idea what sort of side effect he had begun to cause, but when the events unfold, Naruto will be there without a doubt. When he asked Azazel why nature's energy felt so polluted and foul, the older fallen had no idea what the cause it was, but he did know about the dangers of senjutsu. Other than the basics, Naruto would often do mission for Grigori or hang out with the resident half-devil Valerie Lucifer, one of the hiding descendants of the original Mao that died in the Great War. From what Azazel told him, there are pockets of the descendants hiding all over the world. Mainly because they were afraid of two things. One was the son of the Morningstar Risavim Levon Lucifer, whom killed anyone remotely related to the Lucifer clan. And the other was the newer current government ruling the devils and the newer for Mao. While Naruto understood the point of hiding for the sake of protection, he dislikes many things about this world. He really strongly disliked many things. From the biblical faction all the way down to the hero faction. This world has all sorts of screws loose, and Naruto could only sigh at the mess of it all. He had a problem with every faction, including Grigori faction, which he is a part of. His faction was made of too many people eager to satisfy their own desires, i.e. they are power hungry or just looking for a hot quick fuck and didn't care how they got it. The angels, he believes personally, had spent too much time in the light and are now blinded by it and believe they are the good guys. They aren't. With the devils, Naruto only had a problem with the evil peace system and their laws, which put him on edge. But again, those were only a few things he disliked about all the factions. In all honesty, Naruto had a lot of things he disliked about these factions. As an assassin, his creed and order, the highest and number one goal at all times, is pursuit of total freedom for all people. This objective led the assassins to oppose tyrants and oppressors alike, as well as engage in rabble-rousing efforts in the aim of motivating the people towards change and improved living for all. It also led the assassins to become sworn enemies of the Templar Order, who prized purpose, control, and order above freedom. Although freedom is their highest goal and ideal, the assassins have also prized other ideals at various points in their existence. Examples included peace, justice, and knowledge, while certain other individuals pursued personal objectives such as vengeance. Now, having all the memories of his deceased parents and ancestors may sound great, and all, but it was honestly a headache not. But Naruto valued many things above all else. Some were freedom, his bonds, family, friends, knowledge, love, understanding, compassion, and nature. He also followed the creed and never killed the innocent, keeping his hands clean in regards of that. He only killed the corrupted, evil, and vile, which were numerous back in his home world. But in this world he had lost count of how many people that needed to be set straight, or at least taken care of. He had lost count of how many souls he sent to the Shinigami, and now that count will only grow now. And while his order was not perfect by any means, Naruto had done better than any of the shinobi villages by spreading peace to the people that could not otherwise defend themselves. He held no illusions that he was a good guy. He took lives of others to make change where change in a world controlled and gripped by hatred. But damn it, at least he stood for something he fought tooth and nail for. No village, both past and present, can say they united several smaller nations and their hidden villages in the pursuit of peace and harmony. No men in any nation can say that they themselves had fought for equality among all and asked for nothing in return. Very few can ever say that they knew all the Bijus' names by heart and understood them. None could say that they wanted to protect the Biju and let them roam free and not sealed away. Yes, he took the Biju, the means for them to cause widespread destruction, but in doing so he made sure no one would ever misuse them and their power. He highly enjoyed the presence of each Biju and respected them like living beings. Something the Biju as a whole hardly if ever found in a human being. The Biju trusted Naruto, and in doing he was allowed to use their power as he wished, though he avoided from doing so. He wanted to rely on his own skill and power before he ever asked any of them for help. He honestly wanted them to be free and not be within his body, but they refused to leave his side. Also, if anything, Naruto just rather had gone off his own, but then again there was a problem in that aspect. He did not want to reveal any of his skills nor powers other to Azazel, whom is one of the few people Naruto trusts. He wanted to blend in with this world's inhabitants, and also he needed to learn his fallen abilities and anything regarding his new status. He had not made any enemies, but he kept a far enough distance from any other supernatural being unless it proved impossible for him to avoid. He was warned by Azazel to keep his appearance in the supernatural world to a limited amount. Often of not, Naruto hidden his own fallen power by only spreading only one set of his wings in order to fly. He also worked with few other fallen angels such as Rainier, Calwarner, Middle, whom all three sworn their loyalty to him after finding out though mistake he was in fact their faction's second seraph level fallen. Though not bothered by this, he made them swear to say nothing about his status among the fallen, which they agreed. Something since then had coaxed the three to flirt, tease, even tried to seduce, since Naruto is rightfully one of the strongest fallen ever. And while those three had their own quirks, he made sure to treat them kindly and with respect. He also took time to train them a bit in certain areas they needed to work on, i.e. such as their speed, control, or strength. And surprisingly, they took his training seriously, not wanting to disappoint Naruto by any means. Honestly, all three girls rather liked Naruto, as he was not just wise but fair in his teaching. Sure, they are several times older, but he was several times more skilled, powerful, and calm. By the end of the second month, they all developed a crush on the much stronger fallen instead of just lusting after him for his power and strength. They knew from stories of other wives that are married to strong fallen that Naruto was husband material. All they have to do now is get him to notice them romantically. Of course, this was easier said than done. While he wasn't with Rainier, Calwarner, Middle, or even Valerie, Naruto would often or not be sent on more scouting missions where he meet other fallen him whom are of the least troubling kind of their faction. Naruto would lead by example, and pretty soon the whole faction knew him by two names. Executioner or the Unknown were the two names given to him by several fallen. They named him Executioner for the way he fights and finishes off his foes whom dared stand against Azazel orders and harmed innocents. Now Naruto has not fought many times, but during the short battles he did take place he was simply lethal and deadly to go against. He showed little mercy to any whom harmed innocent civilians, especially kids. Also the fact most of them attacked Naruto with lethal force, Naruto simple responded in kind. The name the Unknown came from the fact no one knew how he fell, how old he is, or even what his skills center around, as no one ever seen the few fights last more than 2 minutes. How many if not all the fallen didn't know one thing about Naruto, and the only one whom seems to have a clue is Azazel, but he hasn't spoke a word about the newer silver-haired fallen. Not even the other leaders of the Grigori knew a thing about Naruto. Sure, there were questions, but Azazel just mostly smirked and laughed it off as not important. Which really annoyed them all to no end. Naruto was indifferent to anyone that he wasn't familiar with in Grigori. He got along with Azazel just fine. The man sorta reminded him or Jiraiya, and thus their friendship went along beautifully. If you can count the amount of times they tried to prank each other and laugh like close buddies. Kami, may his soul find peace. But things were taking an interesting turn as the wheels of fate were halted and broken the very day Naruto arrived. A middle-aged, gruff-looking man with black hair, matching beard and a muscular body. The man had a set of 5 wings which marks as 10 black wings in total. He has a serious face as he looked to a younger seraph he would be proud to call an ally and friend, though he would say it out loud. The bodybuilder-like male smirked as he saw the 2 seraphs go at each other with an intent to kill. They sure aren't holding back much, the male smirked with a nod of approval. Both proud at the fact this kid was able to push back his leader and friend in an all-out match, which is routine for the 4 Great Fallen have a match every week. The 4 Great Fallen, as they are nicknamed by their faction, are none other than Azazel, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Barracuda, and Shemhazai. These 4 Fallen were the top of the Fallen brass and are highly powerful and skilled in their respected arts. They were also the strongest of the Fallen in terms of strength, speed, power, skill, and knowledge. Azazel, as the Governor-General, was the commander and chief of the Grigori faction. As such, he relayed orders, peace treaties, and etc. Shemhazai is the Vice-Governor-General and in charge if Azazel is out of reach or commission. As such, he was completely aware of the second Seraph Naruto and trusted Naruto to help him maintain order in case of a war or major battle that threatens them as a faction. He was also Naruto's second mentor and rightfully Naruto's charge, as he often stayed with Shemhazai and his wife when in Grigori's HQ. Barracuda was a Kendre whom basically is specially trained for a particular purpose or profession. As such, he is normally a bodyguard or teach to help younger Fallen master their powers. He was in charge of the muscle and manpower, making sure that the soldiers whom were loyal to the faction were trained, well fed, and taken care of. Naruto title in the Grigori faction is Kendre, just like Barracuda, but his role deals with being the faction's medical expert, spy master, master assassin, first recon, liaison, arbitrator, and etc. that deals with both his shinobi and assassin talents, which are a big boon for the Grigori faction. Though despite his level and power, Naruto respected his fellow Fallen and treats them as equals. Though time has passed when Naruto originally arrived into this world. In fact, it has been little over a year since Naruto had been in this world. During this long year, Naruto has been training, learning, helping the other decent Fallen, and whatever he feels that needs to be done, so the young seraph didn't lose his mind when dealing with Azazel antics or Veil when she demanded he train with her. Azazel, time is up, Barracuda called out with a serious aura. The older seraph had a peace negotiation with the yokai in Kyoto today. Azazel ignored his longtime friend and dashed in a blur of motion, intending win this match against the younger seraph. Naruto, however, here Barracuda called out to Azazel. Naruto also knew from training with Azazel that the older seraph planned to win this match, as Naruto won the last match by tricking Barracuda. Kage Bunshin, Naruto muttered as 4 clones popped into existence and charged Azazel, whom sent 4 spears of light though the clones' chest easily, only to blinded by the proof of smoke. Azazel's eyes widened as he felt and sensed Naruto appear in front of him with pure speed. Damn it, Naru, Azazel said before he barely blocked an attack from Naruto. However, he still felt the full might of a chakra-enhanced strength technique hit forearms, ascending flying to the ground. Naruto tapped into his light magic and made a light spear which he coated in right-on chakra. Naruto threw at a blinding speed to a crashing Azazel, whom only paled at one of the tricks Naruto learned while training with Barracuda. He could fuse his chakra with his light magic and make it much more dangerous depending on the degree and elemental combination he is using. Though this won't kill Azazel, it will be painful. Shortly after, Naruto landed and looked at the twitching form of his leader. Thank you, Naruto. Barracuda thanked the younger Fallen for ending the match quickly. Naruto nodded as he had to go back and study the prototype information that Azazel had just worked though. Getting up from the ground like nothing happened, Azazel popped his left arm back into place as he sighed. Damn Naruto and his tricky way of thinking. But goes to show you he is the real deal when it comes to being an assassin, Azazel thought as he rubbed the back of his head and yawned. Good match, Naruto. Using only your Kage Bunshin smoke as a distraction to mask your approach and take me down, Azazel said with a smirk. Though Azazel was able to block the punch, Naruto was still able to send him flying to the ground with the chakra-enhanced strength technique he mastered back in his home world. Nonsense, Azazel. I would have lost if I wasn't allowed to use chakra in this match, Naruto said in a humble tone. He still had a problem controlling his light magic. While he is better than he once started, Azazel said he still has a long ways to go. In which Naruto agreed, as he isn't as good like Barracuda or Azazel in the use of magic or light magic for that matter. Anyway, Azazel, you have a meeting with the yokai faction in Kyoto. Get cleaned up and ready. We are already running late as it is, Barracuda said in a serious professional tone. He had business to attend to, which some Rouge Fallen messing with a small town within the country of Norway. Why they were there Barrakiel had no clue, but from Naruto's spy network the leaders of the Grigori were much better informed. Hell, Naruto's spy network was the best thing to ever happen to them. Now they had better information and can act accordingly. Also, it's the best and most reliable spy network ever. Azazel had a noticeable scowl on his face before he glanced at Naruto before a glint appeared in the older Seraph's eyes. Naruto quickly noticed this as he mentally groaned. Damn it, he wanted to listen to Disturb as he studied the notes and information. It was to be his first day off in months. Months, he tells you. Naruto, I want you to go in my place for this meeting, Azazel said with a winning confident smirk. Naruto's eye twitched as Azazel just proved to be incredibly lazy and doesn't really like doing work. Azazel, if there was ever a definition of lazy, it would have your picture in the dictionary, Naruto muttered as he crossed his arms and his wings folded but still in plain view, showing he is indeed a Seraph-level fallen, though the power rolling off him said he was stronger than Azazel himself. Azazel waved off the insult and smirked. Truly this kid is a blessing, Azazel thought, looking at his surrogate godson whom is standing next to Barrakiel. Now, this is to help you get used to dealing with other factions. The yokai of Kyoto are one of the most neutral factions in the world. Also, you will be heading there to either help them make peace or remove a thorn from their side. I had reports of some Rouge fallen in that city killing its inhabitants. Plus, this will be a good experience for you as you never had to fully deal with any other race other than our own. Think of it as part of your training, and your role in our faction to be the arbitrator, Azazel explained. Yeah, I go to an unknown area while you go fishing, Naruto deadpan with a slight twitch to his eye. He never been in Kyoto before, nor has he had to face any race other than Rouge Devils and Rouge Fallen. Other than that, Naruto's existence has been a secret of the Grigori faction for the past year. This is only because no one lived to see another day if he fought them, or the fallen loyal to the Great Four kept their mouths shut. Well, maybe it's because Azazel, Barrakiel, and Shemhazai haven't told anyone about him in any fashion. Also, make sure you work out a decent treaty with their leader Yasaka. Barrakiel will fill you in on their faction during your flight there. Now, if you excuse me, I think the Gulf of Mexico is experiencing some lovely weather, Azazel said as he span on his heel and walked off while waving by. Naruto and Barrakiel just stared blankly at their leader's retreating form. Barrakiel only could mentally sigh as he knew his old friend would pull this on Naruto. Naruto knew Azazel pushed this on him to get out of doing work. While his job covered many subjects in Grigori, he was the go-to person for settling a dispute as he was able to make great peace solutions. I wonder what Shemhazai will do when he finds out Azazel pushed this onto me when I am already busy hunting down so many Rouge Fallen while maintaining a spy network, Naruto said with a shake of his head, thinking of the vice-governor whom also became his sparring part and mentor along with Azazel. Knowing Shemhazai is close to gaining the rank of Seraph among the fallen. Shemhazai is the only one besides Naruto whom punishes Azazel for doing something stupid. Also, the fact his wife is a devil and the fact she make the best damn cookies he ever ate before makes Naruto like his time being around the wife and husband. No telling what Shemhazai, Barrakiel said, thinking of his close friend other than Azazel or Naruto. By the way, have you heard from him or his wife? Naruto looked at Barrakiel with a questioning look, whom shrugged. Maybe going at it like rabbits, Barrakiel shrugged, not caring what he said around Naruto. While working, Barrakiel is a serious, rigid warrior-type personality. But off work and around friends like Naruto, Azazel, or Shemhazai he is relaxed and cool. Though Naruto has mentioned the man just takes jokes way too seriously. Dude, if you're that lonely then find a woman you can marry or at least date, Naruto said with a light scolding tone. He honestly thought the man needed to get laid or find someone to love, cause a depressed Barrakiel is not right by any means. He was aware of Barrakiel's past with his deceased wife, and his daughter whom is in the peerage of Rias Gremory, whom is the younger sister to the current Mao Surzek Lucifer. A cloud of depression formed over the older fallen as he muttered, they aren't the same as my Shuriheim, Barrakiel said in a depression and sorrowful tone. Naruto sighed as he patted Barrakiel's back in support, as he knew the feeling of losing a lover. He never told the other fallen this cause no one else in the elemental nations knew Naruto had a secret relationship with an ill woman whom was dying. He never knew she was dying until after she passed, of course. But that story is for another time. Tell you what. We both will go get shit-faced drunk and have fun in L.A. after this task is done, Naruto said with a comforting smile. Barrakiel looked at Naruto with appreciation in his eyes and nodded. It was nice having Naruto around. He was deadly, serious, and dangerous when needed. And when not needed, he was a loyal friend, kind-hearted person, wise, and great cook. I'll go get ready for the peace treaty, Barrakiel. Hopefully we can build bridges with other factions, Naruto said with a sigh. Barrakiel nodded as he walked off to get some documents for the treaty. 35 minutes later. High in the dark night sky, a dark-clad figure could barely be seen as he flew towards Tokyo. That figure is Naruto, Arcandre. Naruto was flying in the air far above the crust of the earth. He looked down at the humans and other races below with a studying gaze. Naruto only has one set of wings out as he kept his massive powerful reserves hidden. This also helped deceive any whom think he is a very low tier fallen. Barakiel, what kind of yokai will I be dealing with? Naruto spoke into his earpiece. You will be dealing with Yasaka, a Kyuubi no Yoko and her ghouls, yokai, and other races that call Tokyo home. As such, it's important to remember they are strongly neutral to the devils, angels, and us fallen. This meeting is meant to allow yous not only trade with the yokai but also have another area we can work and operate in. By doing the 2 tasks you've been given, we may be able to halt the process of our numbers decreasing. Or at least find newer members whom aren't fallen. But first we need to build relations with Yasaka, which is what you will be doing first, Barakiel said over his own earpiece. Roger, what kind of profile does this Yasaka have? Naruto asked, which caused the normally serious fallen to smirk at Naruto being professional when needed. From the little we could gather thanks to your spy network, she is a kitsune yokai whom has 9 tails. Yasaka is a golden blonde-haired woman with matching eyes and is normally seen wearing a shrine maiden or priestess outfit. She is a single mother to a small kid named Kunu, whom is also a 9-tailed fox as well, but she isn't even at the age of 10 yet. Not much on the father of the child other than that she is close friends with Queen of the Damned, the newer 3 Dark Lords whom are females, and some members of the Shinto faction. But other than that, we never been officially invited into their territory on a peaceful term before, Barakiel explained. Got it, thanks for the heads up, I will see you later, Naruto said, disconnecting the call. Little? My spy network was able to give me day-by-day detailed reports from anywhere in the world, plus I have thousands of hackers, both human and supernatural, helping me identify threats. Has something happened? Naruto thought as he flew a bit faster. Halting in his flight, Naruto closed his eyes and tapped into his nature chakra. Swiftly going into Senin Modo, Sage Mode, as his eyes changed from sharp sapphire crystal blue to golden amber with a black slit for a pupil. Reddish pigmentation formed around his eyelids and his whisker marks also turned to a 3-bored jagged red pigment. In the center of his forehead, a dot with a hollow circle with a red circle appeared and looks eerily similar to Hashirama's forehead marking when he enters Sage Mode. He was able to pinpoint the largest signatures in Tokyo, which is over 2,000 feet below. Tucking in his wings, Naruto free fall down towards the earth. Using the cover of darkness, his own skills he learned from his assassin ancestors and his own shinobi skills, Naruto was able to land softly in a dark alley without a sound and without alerting anyone to his landing. Thank you, Zabuza, for teaching me the silent killing technique, Naruto thought briefly. So far so good, though I should be on guard, Naruto thought as he using his sensor abilities combined with Senin Modo to pinpoint whom he thinks is Yasaka. That might be you. The life force is fox-like, I think, Naruto thought with a confused look as he cancelled his Senin Modo and walked through the alleyway, careful of his surroundings. He could feel all the life and busy living things around him. Naruto was the best sensor when it came to someone's life force. As such, he could even feel the rats in the sewer below his feet. He could smell the thick musk in the air that was mixed with pollution. Naruto sighed as he hardly could feel any nature chakra around him. If there was any nature chakra. Naruto took a step back to check what his is wearing. He is currently wearing black dress slacks, black dress shoes, a black leather belt, a long-sleeved white button-up business shirt that is tucked in into his slacks. Under his white dress shirt is a specially made armor Naruto had made long ago. He then had on a black skin-tight umbu shirt that showed every curve of his chiseled chest without leaving anything to the imagination. Though the skin-tight umbu shirt had one special feature on all of his others. One. This shirt was hard and tough like diamond, yet lighter, and doesn't restrict any of his movement. However, it was out of view, so one will not see the skin-tight umbu shirt. Naruto also took to wear a business vest, which he also lined with seals to make it tougher, stronger, and more durable than it normally was. With that, he also had on a blood red tied around his collar. Around his neck were 3 necklaces, which each one held an important place in Naruto's heart. Around his neck hangs his Assassin Creed symbol, Hashirama's necklace, and an amulet locket. The final thing Naruto is wearing is his trench coat tailored by a professional. The coat itself came down to his knees lengthwise and also had long sleeves instead of normal short sleeves. This all came together, completing a hitman/lawyer type look. Using a skill he learned from his assassin ancestors, Naruto blended with the crowd completely in a calm manner, as he kept himself hidden in the open, a hidden blade among the crowd. He kept hidden and arrived to where he sensed a massive energy signature. ANS sees a woman talking to 3 other women. Though he sensed nothing special about them. She appears as a young woman with a voluptuous figure and blonde hair with matching eyes. She is also dressed in a shrine maiden attire. though her figure is not hidden by the maiden outfit she is wearing. Naruto could easily tell she had curves in all the right places, making her body seem like an hourglass, which Naruto found her oddly and beautifully attractive. She has at least D to DD cup size and didn't seem to sag at all. In fact, they looked perfectly round and plump as they lightly jiggled around with her breathing or movement. Her face was in a heart shape, and her lips are a light pink and fully kissable. Her delicate facial features seemed to be crafted by an artist, and whom understood the concept of beauty. Naruto admired her figure even more when he noted her stomach looks flat and toned, and from what little exposure of her legs he can see they are smooth, long, and toned. Naruto mentality went through a checklist of all her features. He mentality added she looks damn near perfect. Naruto admired the fox body across the street as he studied her through a window. From her scent alone, which he can smell in this dense city, Naruto knew she smelled like a fox. Tapping his fingers, Naruto waited till the humans left so he may speak to the Kyoto yokai leader. Seeing she wasn't bothered by anyone other than other yokai waving hi or greeting their leader, Naruto walked amongst the crowd showing little hostile intent but still on guard if he needed to fight or bail out. Smoke bombs come into play if he needs to make a quick dash. Walking calm, Naruto approached the leader without making a sound or revealing his presence. "Yasaka Dano, I presume?" Naruto said with the honorific Dano, as he knew he could be friendly to pretty much any fallen he comes across. Naruto does not know Yasaka's mentality nor how she acts. Being respectful and polite was his best bet to appear not much as a threat, though he still loathes being so damn formal. The beautiful blonde nearly jumped when she noticed Naruto's presence. She hadn't sensed him. "Yes? Whom might you be?" Yasaka said with a curious yet guarded tone. She idly noted he was very handsome and good-looking despite his young appearance. She could quite place it, but he smelled odd for some reason. Other yokai just took notice of someone get near their leader without being noticed. "I am terribly sorry if I startled you. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I am replacing Azazel as he is currently unavailable. I hope this does not hindrance anything," Naruto said politely, while cursing Azazel mentality for being a lazy ass again. He really needed to beat some sense into the man, but every time he had got to the point he was going to, Azazel somehow knew to disappear and hide from both Naruto and Shamhazai wrath. "It's quite alright, Uzumaki-san. Please sit," Yasaka said politely with a smile. Through her tone, Naruto can hear slight disappointment in not meeting with Azazel, which is understandable. Azazel, while a great friend and good leader, his laziness tends to interfere with his job. Naruto sat down with the yokai leader, ignoring the glares or stares. "Now I wish to ask Yasaka Dano, why the sudden reach out to our faction? From what I understand, many yokai dislike fallen," Naruto said, starting off the conversation with a simple question. "Well, you see, we are having some problems with some members of the Grigori faction. I do doubt it's because Azazel had ordered such actions. We even lost some members due to some attack these fallen have been behind," Yasaka explained. Naruto frowns at this news. "Maybe that's why I have little information on this region. My spies have been getting killed thanks to our own men. But who has leaked the identities of my spies? How far is my spy network compromised?" Naruto thought seriously. If this is true, then his spies, whom are strictly loyal to him, are in grave danger. But the fact some members have been attacking another faction does not strike Naruto as a surprise, but it is the faction they attacked. "No, Yasaka Dano, no such order was given to attack your faction or any other faction. In fact, Azazel's strict orders were not to interfere with the lives of humans, and not to attack any other factions. Those who disobeyed this order are either just recent fallen angels that aren't part of Grigori, or they had gone against Azazel's orders and started attacking your people," Naruto explained while thinking of something. "They have not received a report about the fact any new angels falling from grace. And for all Naruto knew, the angels have been locked up away in heaven, keeping limited contact with any faction. Their home bases are the Vatican and some major other cities that have a strong biblical influence in the region. Though their strongest is around the Vatican, Europe, and France. Or at least around that region from what he can tell. Grigori's stronghold is within the underworld, but in the human world they control some of the islands of the coastal waters where tourists are their biggest money maker. The devils, from what Naruto knew, also had a stronghold in the underworld, but the human world it was hard to pinpoint as each family had their own territory, an area they controlled or preferred. These areas could be a mansion, small city, or countryside. It solely depended on the clan. With the Gremri clan it was bits and pieces of Europe and a city in Japan. With the Citri it was a couple of mansions or hospitals in France or US. And the list can go on. Not to mention all the safe houses hidden around with world. Naruto himself owns a couple islands he privately owned and racked in a decent amount of cash every month. Though most of the total earning are spent on bills, supplies, the humans that work for him, or etc. He also managed to own some exciting banks in the mainland by either manipulating and taking care of the corrupted bankers that were there, replaced them with a reinforced Kagebunshina and managed them at a distance. Thus the income of the bank improved, and so did the lives of the workers. Of course, and no one knew this other than Naruto. He didn't need Azazel or the other breathing down his back about interfering with mortal lives. Plus, the private island are bases Naruto can go to and stay hidden. One of them he designs for his sole use, and as such it was heavily hidden by genjutsu, seals, and some barriers Naruto has learned from Shamhazai. This island is just off the coast of the Bahamas, which he has chosen for his home. He was rich enough to afford the privately owned land hidden from the supernatural and non-supernatural world, but he wasn't rich enough to turn any heads or draw attention. But really, is it a bad thing if he helped improve the area and livelihood of those whom work for him, without them knowing? It was a win-win for Naruto and the workers whom were barely able to pay their bills. He has income every month and they can now afford to pay their families. Just because he was an assassin and shinobi doesn't mean he is evil or cruel. Well, I guess it's a bit of relief that these attacks aren't issued orders. Tell me, what are you going to do with the fallen near the abandoned church? Yasaka asked, curious to what this fallen will do. Naruto had held a thinking pose as she spoke and as he thought 1,000 other things. Simple, I will ask them to leave peacefully. If they refuse, I will use force. And if becomes too dangerous for the surrounding area, I will remove them, Naruto said with a frown. Naruto didn't honestly like killing. He rather avoid conflict and war altogether, but sometimes it just doesn't work out like he hopes. And sometimes people commit crimes that cannot be forgiven by any means. These beings are the ones he hunts and kills. People that are beyond hope and any form of saving or helping. People like Danzo, Obito, Black Setsu, Kagaya, Madara, some of the Akatsuki, and generally people who make others suffer for either their own gain, twisted pleasure, or some kind of fucked up goal. Yasaka across from Naruto frowned but nodded in understanding. She waved her hand requesting tea is brought to the two of them. I understand, Naruto-san. Please stay a bit longer for some tea, Yasaka said in a polite tone, being respectful to the fallen. She couldn't sense his power at all. Either he is really good at suppressing his power, or he is middleman. But he just said he would go take care of the fallen, so it was most likely the former, as he didn't seem weak nor powerful. She couldn't gauge him correctly. It was like he was trained to not give any hits about himself away. It also unsettled her. She could hardly tell he was a fallen. Even his scent didn't give anything away. She only smelled the strong scent of forest and nature coming from the man in front of her. Even then she had to pinch herself to test if this was some type of illusion, as she couldn't even tell in certain moments if he was really there. I should send a shadow-type yokai to tail him, Yasaka thought with a weary look in her eyes. This was something that did not escape the master assassin, as he could read any facial expression or physical reaction, not matter how small. It was an advantage he had gained working with Ibiki for about a month. Naruto offered a kind smile and heart-warming aura. I will have to politely decline that offer, Lady Yasaka. I will return when the job is done and fill out the treaty. After that is done with, I will gladly have a cup of tea with you. But first I have fallen to take care of, Naruto said with a small smile as he got up and walked away. At the abandoned church. Hidden within a series of trees that surround the old abandoned church. Hidden by the bush of the tree leaves. Naruto looked on with a blank expression as he mentally counted what he is up against. Let's see, 20 Rouge Exorcists, 10 Rouge Fallen, and 1 arrogant leader with only a 4 set of wings. Naruto counted the 8 winged Fallen with a disappointed frown. Whether this frown was from a lack of challenge or the fact that these idiots honestly think hitting a heavy guarded supply line was a good idea. The world might never know. Sighing, Naruto jumped down from the tree and walked to the band of bloodthirsty Rouge group with a calm, neutral expression. Slowly channeling his chakra to his eyes, the morph into crimson red, glowing red eyes with 3 tomo in each eye. The fully matured Sharingan was about to have its first test run against the Rouge if they did not comply with his demands. Naruto would not pull punches for anyone if they faced him. Walking into the clearing in front of the church, Naruto received the attention from the people. Though the attention was not what he was expecting right away. Dodging the 10 light spears launched at him and catching the 11th one fired from the last fallen, Naruto sensed hostile intent from the 31 people he was meant to capture, detain, or put down. Frowning, Naruto crushed the light spear in his hand and stood back up, his muscles tense and ready for action. His Sharingan spinned a bit faster before. You know, I was going to give you a chance to return peacefully. Now I am either going to beat you within an inch or take your life. If you want to live, then put down your arms now, Naruto said with a stern voice, getting into a defensive stance. Naruto only watched as the Rouge priests and Fallen got ready to attack him. Kill him, the 8 winged Fallen commanded. Sighing, Naruto knew he was going to have an annoying night. Naruto was ready to finish them all in one move, but not before dodging a bullet fired from a gun. The bullet itself barely passed his cheek. Though the Sharingan may not be able to fully pick up a speeding bullet itself, it can sure as hell help you dodge one thanks to Ida's ability to read and predict the movements of an opponent, Naruto thought as he dodged the next 6 shots like he was in the Matrix. He leaned back up after he heard disbelieving gasps or noticed disbelieving looks that the priest holding the guns were giving him. Placing his hands in the boar sign, Naruto muttered a simple yet one of his favorite jutsu. Jintan, Musho, Naruto said before he disappeared from view. Soon thuds around the 8-winged fallen were heard. The Rouge Fallen blinked in confusion as he saw Naruto disappear and reappear where he was standing. And this happened all in less time it takes one to blink. Next thing he knew is his men or women on the ground either dead or knocked out. He couldn't tell which at the movement as he felt an incredibility cold feeling at his feet. Looking down, the fallen Rouge noticed ice was encasing his feet and traveling upwards with a steady pace. Looking at the unknown nicely dressed male with hatred, the Rouge Fallen summoned a light spear to shatter the ice but was shocked at the fact his own light spear shattered, and not the ice. Hayatan, Raito Kanken, Naruto said out loud as the ice kept creeping up to the Rouge waist, and by then the ice was too heavy as he fell over, struggling to get out of the encasing ice. Ice release, frozen imprisonment. Naruto looked at the downed fallen and trapped fallen that were in front of him without an emotional look reflecting in his eyes. Gathering a large amount of chakra, Naruto channeled the chakra into his palm of his right hand. Soon a purple rotating vortex with white and purple aura appeared in his hand. It only looked like a vortex of the swirling night sky. Standing before the fallen, Naruto held the swirling void element in his palm as he admired the beauty of this element he mastered though insane training right before he faced Kaguya or Madara. With an open palm outstretched to the fallen, Naruto said in an emotionless voice, "Kutan, Kyoma ni Hikikama," and the effect was instant. The purple swirling energy started to suck the surround area like a black hole held in Naruto's open palm like a powerful vacuum. The fallen, priest, and their trapped leader were also victims of this technique as they were sucked by the powerful vacuum. Void release, drawn into nothingness. Naruto clapped his hand together in a praying motion and said, "Forgive me, I take no pleasure in this, but I do this for the betterment of the innocents. May your souls find peace," Naruto muttered as he swiftly turned around and walked forward toward Yasaka's. He would really like some tea and to rest. Using Kutan takes a lot out of him even if he mastered the element. It drained more chakra than any other sub-element he has. As Naruto waked away from the scene, he disappeared in a murder of crows. Yasaka's home. Naruto stood outside the giant shrine as he didn't feel Yasaka's presence. After going back where he first met her, an elder old yokai had told him to head towards this shrine as she invited him to have a formal meeting in her home where they can iron out the details of the peace treaty. Knocking on the large wooden door entrance, Naruto calmly waited for an answer, which wasn't long before an answer came. In the shape of an elementary school-year-old girl. Naruto looked at the young girl with a blinking expression. What's with the females in this world? They are either extremely hot, cute, or both. What in the name of the sage do they put in the damn food? Naruto, though, as his face and expression softened and need to eye level with the girl. Hello, little one. My name is Naruto. Can you tell me where Yasaka is? Naruto spoke softly. Even after all that he had done and committed, he has a large soft spot for people important to him, and children whom are innocent. He knew the actions of the 5 nations were the direct result of the Kage dying to protect him while he took Kaguya's soul. Sasuke was a prick like that. But the prick died shortly after, so he supposed that's a good thing. Okasama is currently away checking the Kyoto's key lines. She won't be back till later. Are you the fallen that Okasama has a meeting with? The little girl asked cutely. Naruto smiled softly and nodded before the door was slammed on his face. With a blank expression, Naruto blinked. The fuck just happened? Naruto looked confused while looking at the door. He hadn't done anything wrong and he has gotten rid of the Rouge group troubling the Kyoto yokai faction. Rubbing his head in a sigh, Naruto slumped in defeat as his training session with Azazel and using the void element took a lot of him. Going to sit on the temple steps, Naruto gazes to the stars with a lost expression. I wonder how the others are doing, Naruto thought as he became lost in his thoughts. His thoughts drifted to Tsunami, Inari, and that old drunk Tazuna. The 3 of them helped Naruto back to his home while he was injured. He does know they left 3 days before he was attacked, but if they were alive was something he wasn't aware of. Naruto's face became a deadpan expression as he saw a fallen angel flying towards him. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but she or he was leaking so much hate and bloodlust you might as well wear a giant neon sign that says "I'm here" in bright bold white lettering. There you are. The fallen didn't even get a chance to attack as sand wrapped around him, or her quickly enough, and the only thing one may hear is a muffled voice. The sand bent backwards before launching the fallen at supersonic speed to the horizon of the earth. Naruto looked impressed but noticed he actually acted on its own. Like when Gaara had the Shikoku in him. I miss Gaara, Naruto thought as he played with the sand, making it dance around his fingers. In a trance-like state, Naruto played with the swirling set as he gathered ice and crystal. Playing with the elements, Naruto focused on changing their shape, size, and density. He could sense the little girl in the hallway of the house, and he can make out a faint sound of what sounded like a conversation over the phone. Most likely calling for her mother wherever she is, Naruto thought as he played with the elements with a calm expression. He knew he wouldn't have to wait long before Yasaka came back. But until she came back, he was going to sit on these steps and relax a little. Hunting down all those Rouge Devils and Fallen, training with Azazel or Barakiel, maintaining their spy network, recruiting hackers, healing any injured, and learning anything else he could while he was here had drained him. He needed a break every now and then. Or he would have went insane by now. Of course, he had to avoid the eyes and ears of other faction workers while maintaining the appearance of a single set Fallen, which wasn't easy. His chakra and magical power could not cross a certain threshold. In order for that to happen, he needed his senses alerted and high at all times. He also needed to avoid the devils and pure angels in order for his strength to grow with magic and other skills Barakiel, Azazel, or even Shamhazai can teach him. Which with magic is quite a bit of learning, practice, and patience. Though with his Kaigab Bunshin helping out his training effort, he was able to cut down his training time by sparring 10 to 15 clones every morning. Ring ring. Ring ring. Naruto took out his phone and saw Barakiel calling. This is Eagle, go ahead Raven, Naruto answered with his Bluetooth earpiece. The phone, Bluetooth, and their call encoded that way no supernatural or non-supernatural can eavesdrop on their conversations. Eagle, this is Raven. Any status update on the mission you have been assigned? Barakiel or Raven said as his call sign was Raven. Sighing, Naruto nodded to himself before slipping into the shadows of the trees. With his sensor abilities up, Naruto felt nothing around him. Mission was completed about cleaning up the Rouges. But for my second task will take time. Their boss isn't so eager to make a firm treaty, Naruto replied as he heard Barakiel hum on the other line. Thank you, Eagle. Now I have a hit job for you. A human by the name of Saito Yui is traveling to Kyoto, and in his possession is a briefcase that might be problematic to our group. Your mission is to intercept the package. How you proceed is up to you. Also be careful, he is meeting a devil in a building located in the city. However, with the security of the company, we weren't able to get blueprint layouts. However, we were able to get a list of items the security guards carry around, Barakiel said with a sigh. High-profile missions were bad for their faction, but they were also needed. But the problem was no one had Naruto's skills nor abilities, leaving him the only one to take sensitive jobs like these. Okay, tell me what the package is, and the security guards load out, Naruto said, leaning against a tree. A plan ready to form in his head. The contents of the package is a relic artifact. From what we were able to gather, though, chatter, it's a Meninohoko, Barakiel said grimly. Naruto blinked for a moment before his whole body went pale. The Meninohoko? Naruto asked, slightly afraid. Yes, that a Meninohoko, Barakiel said. Great, so much for staying on a low profile, Naruto thought while rubbing his head. A Meninohoko, otherwise known as the Heavenly Jeweled Spear. It is often represented as a Naginata and one of the Shinto's greatest treasures and rightfully one of the most powerful sacred artifacts in the world. It was also known as Spear of Creation as it contained the elder Shinto gods' powers before they handed it to the deities Izanagi and Izanami. Naruto smiled kindly to the memory of the mother and daughter after an awkward conversation of why he waiting all night on the steps of the temple until Yasaka returned from her responsibilities of keeping whatever she does in check. Naruto just waved off the mother and daughter with a hearty laugh and said it was fine. He had received worse after all. Being a fallen and learning about this sacred gear users are no different from being a Jinchuriki. Currently this is his second week in Kyoto, and he has yet to receive any new orders from either Shamhazai or Azazel. As such, Naruto took the time to relax and get to know the family. He was trying to build a decent relationship with Yasaka and Kuno at the least. The little girl attached to him almost after Naruto offered to show the girl a really cool magic trick. Since then she hasn't stopped trying to be around him. Though he will admit she was afraid at him at first. Fallen don't have the best record after all. Naruto could understand why they were so weary of him when he first arrived here. The hostile or cold glares were nothing to be surprised at, and Naruto had went the worse. Like that one time Barakiel was trying to teach Naruto Holy Lightning. Damn bastard didn't let Naruto sleep till he learned it. But in the end it was to help Barakiel and his overall well-being and health. But since Naruto had showed that little trick, she always was at his side. Something her mother found both odd and adorable, as Naruto played with the little kit when her mother couldn't, and when he prepared dinner when someone else couldn't. Of course Naruto felt the yokai watching him intently every day. Not that it bothered him any. He found Kuno quite cute and loads of fun. Something about her childlike innocence and curiosity had filled Naruto's heart with a small warmth he enjoyed. He even taught her how to draw some. It's too bad Kurama was still recovering from the war along with the other Bijou. He bet if they found out he can transform into a kitsune or at least a kyubi, he wouldn't be allowed to leave. Even though there is a massive difference between the Bijou and the yokai. One is a sentient mass of chakra and the other is a legendary mythical creature from Japan that is worshipped as a kami. Yasaka was very polite, however, and treated Naruto respectfully ever since that bump in the beginning. To this day, she hasn't stopped saying sorry. Something Naruto found embarrassed Yasaka is a cute Yasaka, which he commented on, which made the woman blush a bit, being called cute or beautiful. For Yasaka, however, she never knew a fallen can be so open and honest. Naruto was kind as he was understanding. He did not particularly enjoy their first meeting, but she was shocked of how nonchalant he was about it. He forgiven them so easily, and did so with a dazzling smile on his handsome face. The first thought that ever comes to anyone's mind when it comes to the fallen are generally sums up as murderers, rapists, warmongers, criminals, and some of the worst of human society. Expect they hold some of the worst supernatural beings. This, however, changed when she met Naruto. He wasn't like what she heard about fallen at all. He wasn't lustful around her, he just got caught admiring her and her body. Nothing lustful or dangerous at all, and he even admitted he found her one of the most beautiful women he ever laid his eyes on, and he liked that idea of dating her. Which he teased her lightly on as he had fun messing with her. He wasn't a warmonger, he detests war and killing altogether, but he was not above killing. He, however, admitted he would kill if he is left with no other choice. Plus, he rather chose peace over war. He never fell from heaven because he committed a sin. He hinted at the fact he was originally half human before that human side was replaced by the fallen angel. Meaning he never raped a girl or killed an innocent soul before. Though Naruto has killed before, it was generally the worst of the worst that face his blade, or he removed from the world. And to her surprise, there are quite a few decent fallen whom still upheld a moral code or honor code since they fell. From what Naruto told her while fallen angels were cast out of heaven, a few decent ones that make the faction strong have adapted and enjoy a life that the angels of heaven do not. Some chose the life of a warrior, training every day and improving their skills and living by the sword. Under Barakiel's watchful eye, these warriors were undoubtedly loyal to the faction that is Grigori. Some chose to dive into the medical field and treat the sick and heal the wounded. Some tackled politics and helped the Grigori faction maintain somewhat of an influence over humans. While this was good or bad has not been seen. Grigori kept their human connection secret and had not started a massive cult or anything to public knowledge. Some went to law school and became lawyers. The list can go on. And what she learned from Naruto is his role is not just act as a spy master but an assassin, medical expert, and overall help in negotiation treaties. Something she finds herself admitting he does all those roles with nothing but 100% in effort. She had seen how Naruto became so close to her daughter. Now Naruto is called Oniai-chan with such affection that it surprised her how warm and kind the fallen is. He was able to help some yokai in Kyoto and treat their wounds or what ails them, boosting the talk about the mysterious fallen within Kyoto. To say she was surprised at how kind and understanding Naruto is was an understatement. And in the end, it only made her feel worse for thinking he was like all fallen. He only been kind and patient with her, and she was treating him like he was already her enemy. He could very well killed her and her daughter in her sleep, but he hasn't, and he never show hostile intent even when he was receiving that said intent. She would have to apologize to him again. Morning, guest bedroom. Sitting up yawning away the sleep in his eye, Naruto blinked a couple of times before his vision had cleared up. It's been quiet since Azazel had contacted me. He wouldn't do this without good reason. But after I take back that damn heavenly jeweled spear from that human, my spies should have located him by now, Naruto thought as he got up and dressed in black cargo pants and a white button-up shirt. Sniffing the air, Naruto smelled the scent of food being made. Bacon, sausage, bread, and maybe waffles or pancakes, Naruto thought with a faint smile. Normally he would have gotten up and made something for him and Kunu unless her mother wasn't busy. Naruto was quite fond of the little Kyubi girl and her mother. They weren't like Kurama, though he loved that big bijou and his Jupiter-size ego. Yasaka and Kunu were much more lovely and much cute. Kunu being adorable with how she acts around him. Yasaka being a beautiful, stunning, strong woman which he finds attractive. With a quick glance at his seals and accounting for everything, which this has become a habit somewhat ever since Naruto found Azazel reading his godfather's Ika books. Naruto had checked his seals every day after getting his books back. Of course, Naruto only had got them back after he promised to publish the books and give Azazel the limited edition copies. Naruto, of course, kept the black lace limited edition for himself. And the world over had begun the hunt of the genius that made the book. Goody. Going towards the living room, Naruto noticed a lack of shadows this morning, meaning the yokai are starting to trust him. Good, all he needs to do now is grab that damn spear and return it to its rightful owners, the Shinto. Then he can truly relax and play with little Kunu. Oni-chan! A little girl's voice yelled out in excitement. Oof. A giggling can be heard as a little fox yokai holds onto Naruto's leg. Morning, Oni-chan, Kunu said with a bright smile, her 9 tails waving around happily. Morning, Kuchan, how's my favorite little kit? Naruto said with a kind, warm smile while picking you the girl and holding her close. I am okay, Oni-chan. Can we go play at the park again? The little vixen said with mixed excitement in her voice. Naruto smiled, giving the girl a warm but mysterious smile. Maybe, Kuchan, I have something to take care of today. Hopefully I can get done soon, Naruto slightly explained. This made the young fox ears drop along with her tails. It didn't help she had the most adorable pouting/sad face Naruto had ever seen. But to make it up to you, how about I take you wherever you would like to go? Like going to the ice cream store, and the effect was instant. The look of joy in the little girl's eyes shines like a star. Yay, I love you, Oni-chan, Kunu said out loud, making her mother, who was secretly watching the exchange, smile with a warm feeling fill her chest. Hi, love you too, little Kuchan. Naruto patted her head and put her feet back on the floor. Kunu went to her mother and hugged her mother's leg with a bright smile on her face. Morning, Yasaka-chan, Naruto said with a kind smile to the leader of the Kyoto faction. Honestly, Naruto was very happy their relationship had turned for the better. Morning, Naruto, Yasaka said with a quick glance to Naruto, giving him a warm smile. Going ahead to set the table, Naruto with the help of little Kunu had set the table with napkins, silverware, and plates. This took them little to 3 minutes to set as Yasaka continued to cook the last bits of breakfast. So what are your plans today, Naruto? From what I heard, you have another task. Yasaka inquired after turning off the burners and fixing everyone's plates. I have to retrieve a relic from a human whom stole it. I will learn more about how and why he took the relic after I question him, Naruto said, putting strain on the word question. Yasaka frowns, thinking Naruto will torture the man or woman, but of course Naruto won't physically torture them. That's why he will use Tsukuyomi. Tsukuyomi, though it requires eye contact to be performed, trapping the target within an illusion completely under the Naruto's control. This allows him to mentally torture the person in question within a few seconds, though to Naruto, or the intended victim, it will be at least several days before they are back in the real world. Or I will just use one of my Rinnegan abilities if I am pressed for time, Naruto mused in thought. Due to no one having the Sharingan, nor having a solid defense against a variety of techniques/jutsu his dojutsu possess. As such, Naruto kept his eyes normally hidden unless taking on a difficult task or the fact he needs to experiment on certain things to see what does and does not work in this world. Such an explain is magic and other weapons that might be magical, enchanted, or enhanced. While his Sharingan cannot pick up the internal energy of magic. His Rinnegan can, however, pick up mana, unlike his Sharingan. Guns were a bit of an oddball though, as while he can dodge them. Though this depends on the caliber of the bullet and the marksman behind the gun. While his Sharingan can pick up normal guns and bullets fired from civilian weapons. It can't pick up the bullets from guns these express use of some of the other supernatural use for some unknown reason. Thus leading him to believe these bullets were somehow enhanced with some type of magic. His Sharingan evolved around a chakra-filled world where magic was non-existent. As such, it would not pick up the mana of another person whom used magic. But the Sharingan itself could not copy or see mana. It still worked like it normally even at EMS level. But it was not useful for picking up mana or anything magical in nature. An example would be a light spear or fire spell. While Naruto can see the fire ball or light spear being thrown if he didn't have his dojutsu active. However, his Sharingan power could not pick up the mana making up the attack, this making it almost invisible to him. Which is odd, as he could not somehow see bullets being fired from some type of magical gun. It truly baffled him why his Sharingan became less useful, or hindered even. Maybe becoming a half-fallen had mutated his Kekkei Genki or messed them up somehow. or altered his abilities, and he hasn't found out why his Kekkai Janaki were like the way they are. He wasn't a 100% sure of everything yet, and no one but him has the Rinnegan or Sharingan in this world. But then again, he only channeled his chakra to activate both his Rinnegan and Sharingan. What happened if he channels a bit of his mana with his chakra? What sort of effect would it have on his dojutsu? Worth trying. It could allow him to pick up mana, or that is the thought. He isn't completely sure, seeing he never depended on the Sharingan too much. Same for the Rinnegan. They were more of his trump cards than anything. But regardless, it showed Naruto where he needed to study in order to counteract this unfortunate bump. As such, Naruto noted if he was ever trapped in a mana-powered illusion, then he would be in trouble. This caused him to understand and train harder in magic than with his chakra-fueled abilities. While he was already godly powerful with his chakra, but his magic and training he will need to train and learn under Azazel, Shamhazai, and Barikil. While Barikil was able to teach some lightning-based magic along with light magic, this in turn allowed Naruto to use the same holy lightning Barikil uses. Shamhazai had taught him alchemy, defensive magic, and how to sense magical illusions. Azazel, however, when he wasn't lazy, had taken teaching Naruto more advanced levels of magic and light magic, letting the young seraph greater knowledge in the subject of spells and etc. And while he can fight on equal ground with magic users, he can't depend on his onjutsu of Kekkai Genkai too much. For one, he is an ex-shinobi and assassin, as such deception was still his bread and butter of life. If it was no, he could use chakra, light magic, holy lightning, senjutsu, control gravity, use the void as a weapon, and create anything out of nothing. He thinks his life would be very hectic. Naruto-kun, you will be safe, won't you? Yasaka asked out of concern for the young man's safety. She doesn't know how powerful he is, but she has seen glimpses of his skill with the sword he calls Reiju. And she knew he was greatly skilled in that aspect, plus she has seen him use senjutsu quite a few times without being affected by the malice and hatred of the world around him, which greatly shocked her at the fact he seemed to have no negative effects. Just the positive effects that comes with senjutsu. She idly wonders if he is a mastered senjutsu, which only has a handful of people to almost none can claim that have mastered senjutsu without them being insane. Hi Yasaka-chan. It's just a routine thing that needs to be done. I won't do anything too extreme, Naruto said with a smile, trying to relax the older yokai's nerves. As the makeshift family ate, Kuna could be heard humming a happy tone as Naruto quickly and skillfully wolfed his food down faster than the girls. This was noticed by Yasaka as she saw Naruto's plate already empty. Looking at Naruto with a stern look, Naruto held his hands in the air as mock surrender with a playful smile, as both adults continued this type of banter whenever Yasaka was home. If Yasaka cooked Naruto's food was inhaled like he had been starving for days. This was common, as Naruto had a big black hole of a stomach. Or that is what Yasaka thinks his stomach it. Kunu of course had no idea what was going on. So being the innocent child she is, she giggled thinking her dream is coming true. Her dream of having Naruto become part of her family. After the meal, Naruto is currently walking down a path toward the building or construction site that the meeting is taking place. Solid idea too. Big heavy machinery, loads of workers, and the site only allows the workers to enter the site as it's a safety hazard for any normal civilians to enter without knowledge on the equipment being used. It provided a certain amount of security, yet tipped nothing off or out of the ordinary. Continuing his merry way to the site, Naruto negative emotion sensing going off like a metal detector finding gold. Hatred, rage, anger, and loathing were hitting his sense like a fat man hits the all-you-can-eat buffet. Naruto wanted to gag a bit as his senses were going off, but he focused and hidden himself better. It was always like this with his negative emotion sensing. It didn't matter what race Naruto came across. All supernatural beings had some kind of potent negative emotions within them. It didn't really matter what race they are for Naruto. Being a sage and having the Sage of Six Paths chakra flowing through him, including Kurama ability to naturally sense negative emotions, has given Naruto a very potent natural sensing ability. This isn't including Sage Mood and his Uzumaki Chakra mode. Some were better than others keeping themselves in check, but it still didn't help Naruto. However, Naruto wondered if there ever was a soul hidden in that festering hatred and loathing. Naruto's seen some of the worst the elemental nations has to offer, the top two being Kagaya and Black Zetsu, as their souls or beings were so dark it made some of these fallen angels he works with look like saints. Hell, Black Zetsu made any supernatural being of this world look like a damn saint. But regardless of the negative emotions going off, Naruto pushed forward and to locate his target for today. Slipping past the guards posted to keep watch at the entrances as Naruto used his shinobi and assassin talents to move quickly towards the building. Too much heavy machinery going around, so I need to figure out what floor they're on. Kage Bunshin and Totan Jutsu will help me locate the place of the meeting without being caught easily, Naruto thought as he continued studying the construction site. Naruto nodded. The hidden guards posed as works. They were making subtle size of light weaponry. Just like Barakil said, like guns and armor. But those handguns must be custom made, or their bigger guns are located with a certain distance or part of the building. If I am going in quietly, I will need to wait and have their attention turned somewhere else before I move. Totan Jutsu might make me invisible, but a keen eye of a veteran will expose me cause of the light bending effect, Naruto thought while hiding his presence. Summoning 4 shadow clones and using the Totan Jutsu to make them and himself invisible. Naruto scouted the area with his clones. It was until one of them came back and directly told him something is off about the 49th floor, which was once a few areas that actually had walls and a room. Traveling up quickly and silently, Naruto went to the room where he sensed what he has been looking for. Keeping himself hidden to the point his very being couldn't be detected, Naruto slipped into the room with his clones, using the man's blind spots to move around without being noticed. Studying the human male holding a black briefcase. It was very faint, but Naruto knew that the item he was sent to capture was within that suitcase. While he kept himself hidden, he knew this was a holy relic, the famed heavenly jeweled spear of the Shinto faction. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he saw the human that arranged this meeting leave the suitcase slightly out of view for himself, as he mumbled about gaining power or master shall be pleased with me or some kinda nonsense under his muttering. All the while the man's eyes looked dead or blank. It was kinda hard to tell, but he seemed to be in a trace of some kind, or at least moving oddly. More like a machine and less like a human, or any sort of life form. Is he being remotely controlled? Naruto thought with a frown. If that was the case, then he couldn't let this man leave here alive. Having run into these types of humans before, they were nothing but puppets intended for the use of their master. And what's worse is that they basically are a hollowed shell. Not even the thoughts they have are their own. Seeing he placed the suitcase out of his view, Naruto waited till his back was turned towards the door. He watched the human get antsy as he was waiting for buyer from the underworld. One of his clones transformed into an exact copy of the suitcase, while another clone grabbed the suitcase and switched it with the cloned case. Signaling his clone to make a move on the human whom had locked him with the clone's hand over the person's mouth, keeping them silent until he stopped resisting. The clone laid down the unconscious human gently before moving to keep an eye out. It may be a human that was rendered down to nothing but being a puppet, but the human puppet still needed air, water, and food to function. Normally they are disposed of after their uses has run its course. Allowing his senses to take effect, Naruto sensed the devil's aura coming up, though she is going to be using the stairs to travel along the stairs. Activating his Rinnegan and using Ninjendo to rip the man's soul out so he may learn what he was planning. Including how, when, where, why, and who helped him in any way. After absorbing the man's soul, Naruto deactivated his Rinnegan and fled the scene after destroying the body using his void element. After fleeing the scene, calmly walking down the street of a busy afternoon in Kyoto, Naruto thought about what he learned from the human soul. He was a mere puppet in a bigger game. He had no other memories other than what he was tasked at that building. But from a glimpse he saw a fallen and another being helped organize this whole thing. They used magic to erase his memories and used the puppet spell to make him into a mindless drone. Just another thing I find disturbing in this world, that so many people, including members of the so-called church, use whatever means necessary to win, Naruto thought as he gently held his left forearm, which held and hid the heavenly jeweled spear on his person, completely hidden from anyone and anything. The suitcase it was in is currently in a dumpster a few blocks from where he is currently. After Naruto got far enough away from the building, Naruto studied the briefcase and found it to be rigid with locating, resummoning, and tracking seals on the case. But he hasn't fully checked the spear itself. I should keep this matter to myself. If there was a fallen in this mess, then no doubt it's a high-ranking member. Question is whom of the Grigori wants to betray Azazel, knowing full well I might catch them if I have my hunch right. I have to make sure the spear itself wasn't rigid with the tracker, Naruto thought as he continued his journey to Yasaka's home. He would need a lot of information. If a top brass betrayed Grigori, it could soon lead to a civil war on their part. And no doubt in Naruto's mind some factions would take advantage of their civil war and wipe out all the fallen completely. The devils being the most likely to attack them while they're weak. Azazel may trust this Surzek person, but for Naruto you had to earn his trust. Right now Naruto's opinion is neutral to all other factions excluding the Kyoto Yokai faction and certain members of his own faction. But with his clone transformed into the suitcase, maybe he could get lucky and see whom is leading this whole thing. Or maybe at least figure out whom was pulling the strings in some fashion. Heading back towards Yasaka's home, Naruto felt someone or something following him. And he was not familiar with the life force or emotions of this individual. The emotions ranged to curiosity, lust, and somewhat of a nervousness. But their life force was something he hasn't encountered in this world before. Looking from the corner of his eye, Naruto saw a woman that he hasn't seen before. She is without a doubt beyond beautiful and attractive young woman with a voluptuous figure, long black hair with split bangs, and hazel gold eyes with cat-like pupils. Her attire consists of a black kimono, a yellow obi, a set of golden beads, and an ornately detailed headband. The kimono features a red interior, and it is open at her shoulders, giving view to her enormously large, which more than rivals some of the fallen women he has encountered. Maybe DD Cup B size, but due to their shape and seemed to jiggle when Naruto looked at her. Reaching out with his passive senjutsu abilities, Naruto picked up on the fact she has senjutsu flowing through her as well, making Naruto blink in surprise. He also kept calm about the Nikomata, though it felt slightly different from other yokai in Kyoto. He was also surprised at the fact she had a devil's aura or presence, which he hasn't felt one like this before. The others were insane, but this devil seemed normal? Interesting. Naruto pondered this development. He hasn't encountered any senjutsu users. Turning right in an ally, Naruto gathered his chakra while preforming a single hand seal and activating his jutsu. Disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Yasaka's home. Appearing in a swirl of leaves, Naruto blinked as he smelled some beef before feeling a certain little Kyuubi tackle him. Hi-Kuchan, Naruto said with a warm smile. Ni-chan, the little vixen said happily as she hugged his leg. How is my favorite little vixen? Naruto smiled, picking up the girl in his arms and letting her hug him. I am okay, Ni-chan. Can we go play in the park again? Kunu asked with a large happy smile. Naruto smiled and ruffled her hair as he nodded. Hi, let's go find your mother first, Naruto said as the two traveled to the kitchen to see a fox goddess humming as she prepared dinner. Ohio Yasaka-chan, Naruto greeted the Kyuubi-level kitsune aka the fox goddess. Yasaka turned around and saw Naruto holding little Kunu's hand. Smiling in a kinda way, she was glad Naruto was okay. She was aware of his position within Grigori, and his job is the most sensitive and dangerous of all. She worried about his well-being sometimes. And also put her at ease he didn't do anything too dangerous for his task. She hopes. Ohio Narukun. You got a call from Azazel Dano a while ago. And someone named Rainier yelled in the background, Yasaka said with a smile. Ah, the lazy ass finally contacts me. I'll call him back later when I don't have an Energizer kit running me around the city. Seriously, where in the name of Kami does little Kuchan get all this energy? Naruto thought as he nodded. Okay, Yasaka-chan. I am taking Kunu-chan to the park. See you when dinner is ready, Naruto said with a faint smile as Kunu playing with his silver hair. Or at the attempt to fix his hair the way she likes it. Kunu really liked playing with her mother's hair, including his own, saying something like, I am going to make Oni-chan/Oka-chan pretty. It was utterly adorable how her face gets with focusing on a task. Okay, Narukun. I will send a yokai to let you know, Yasaka nodded as she knew her daughter loved going to the park with Naruto. Naruto nodded as he picked up the little vixen that is Kunu and left Yasaka alone to tend to things she needed to do. Park. In a giggle fit of joy, a little girl and a young man can be seen playing together as the little girl laughed joyously. Higher, the little girl giggled as the young man smiled with content and pushed the girl on the swing higher, making her scream in excitement. Naruto smiled at the joy-filled voice of the child he was pushing on the swing. Small tender moments like this really made it all worth the long-fought battles and all the sacrifices. Naruto was sorta happy he joined Grigori as a faction. Yes, they had a major set of problems in front of them. One being the security of the fallen, both male and female. One problem Barakiel and Naruto face every day is the continuous threat of female fallen or male fallen being killed, sold off, or many worse things at the hands of the other factions such as the New Devil faction, the Church, or any other faction. Naruto and Barakiel had cracked down on kidnapping of female fallen whom were subjected to sickening conditions. Males were the same, though to a much more brutal degree, as they were not only forced to have intercourse with varying females including males, tortured, and beaten within an inch of their lives before they are healed, and the whole cycle repeats. Females from their faction were not seen as boxy, but instead they were seen as toys, to name a few words. Males were seen in the same light, though they were normally killed on the spot. Some fallen females even had their reproductive organs ripped out in the more violent cases, and same with males. The fallen were losing ground, and Azazel was becoming pissed as the months went by. And Naruto has never seen Azazel pissed before, but it was enough to understand that even Barakiel and Shamhazai rather face an army of devil and pure angels than face a angered Azazel. Their truce was falling apart at this rate, and if something doesn't happen soon, war will break out within 10 years. Both Michael and Serzek were turning a blind eye to all of this. They were doing nothing to control the ones whom followed them, and what's worse is the fact their numbers have fallen to the 3,000s in total numbers. With a total rounding amount of 3,000 members loyal to Azazel, Barakiel, Shamhazai, and Naruto. They would have to put a rush on that project, or have some members solely focus on reproducing offspring so their race just doesn't die out. Something all four Fallen do not want to tell their members to have more intercourse with their loved ones or someone just for their race to survive the next 100 years. It was wrong, and Azazel had been more busy than ever trying to make a system much like the evil peerage system, though Azazel was trying to find a way around the master and servant deal so the turned Fallen still can have free will and leave to a normal life if they wished. Naruto also spent a lot of time helping in this endeavor with trying to find a good balance so the human or entity wouldn't lose control of their fallen powers and abilities. Azazel's goal was to have some Fallen and their lovers live long lives together and be happy. Have a makeshift family, or even live an immortal life with your most cherished people. Which is one reason Azazel had started studying the peerage system and sacred gears in order to recreate their own system to boost their numbers. The other reason Azazel worked so hard on this project was more personal, but Naruto didn't pry. Though one can wonder what in the hell the name will be for the Fallen peerage peace system. Not something like the evil peace system the devils have. Azazel wanted it to be original and something completely different in nature and how it works. Naruto and Azazel had agreed to base it on the game shogi with 1 king, 1 rook, 1 bishop, 2 gold generals, 2 silver generals, 2 knights, 2 lances, and 9 pawns. The total number of pieces would be around 20 pieces compared to the 16 pieces the evil peerage system has. What they haven't figured out is a name. Naruto wanted to name it Lost Light System, but Azazel wanted to name it Dark Wing System, but they couldn't agree on one name or the other. Barakiel suggested the name Tainted General System, while Shamhazai liked the name Departed Guard System. Each name was good, but they wanted to stick with one name. Also, the Fallen were no longer fighting to maintain a balance and happy peace between any faction. Now they were battling just to survive another year without losing anyone. With that being said, Grigori had been the most quiet faction out of all the factions in the world to date. Even the ever-so-well-hidden Shinto faction was still much more active than the Fallen faction. Something that the other factions are taking a note of, as there hasn't been so much as a small fight. So many factions were wary of why the Fallen Angels were so quiet. But they didn't have any contacts within Grigori like Naruto has everywhere else. Naruto's attention was snapped out of his thoughts as he received a text message. Opening the message, he sees Rainer, Calawarner, and Middlehead went to his apartment in Ku where normally Azazel stays. I hope they aren't going to cause me any trouble, Naruto thought. Of course, those 3 girls were a bit of joy in Naruto's life. They were a blend of students, love interest, and best friends. Something he doesn't think normally happens. Naruto greatly enjoyed their company whenever they were free. Of course, Naruto also took them out to dinner, and even cooked them dinner. Something that has become a positive habit. Oniai-sama? Naruto raised an eyebrow and turned his attention towards the little girl whom had slowed down on her swing as she wasn't being pushed anymore by Naruto. Oh, sorry, Kuchan, I was lost in my thoughts again, Naruto apologized to the young kid. What are you thinking about, Oniai-chan? Kunu asked with curious look. Naruto smiled kindly at the little girl and patted her head. I was thinking about all the people I work hard to protect, Naruto said softly as he noticed the area around him had begun to fade into a dark blue hue. Looking at his surroundings, Naruto noted something very odd yet dangerous. Everything has stopped, or become still. What? Naruto thought as he got close to little Kunu, whom is also frozen. Naruto body tense, ready to protect the little girl he had become so attached to during his stay. He didn't want to see the little girl hurt and her mother be broken. Naruto wouldn't be able to handle the guilt, nor would be able to handle the untamed rage within himself if he let her get hurt by anyone. Naruto blinked as everything returned to normal, but Naruto saw a small piece of paper on the ground. Oniai-chan? Kunu looked at the master assassin with a confused look as Naruto picked up the note. Naruto faintly smelled a pleasant and sweet scent, yet at the same time the smell of a wolf lingered on the note. Pocketed the note, Naruto looked at the sky before turning to the girl. Sorry, Kuchan, I thought I sensed something off. Naruto patted the girl's head with a warm smile. Patting the girl's head, Naruto picked the girl up and took her away from the park. Let's get some ice cream, Naruto said with a smile as the little girl cheered in joy. Later that day, Naruto sighed as he leaned back against a post as he sat on the patio. Looking at the small note he found on the ground, Naruto found it interesting that it was there after everything around him freezes. Normally that type of power, the power to seemingly stop time, was a power Naruto himself did not have but wasn't affected for the sole fact the void element he had used many times allows him to be immune to time and space-related techniques or effects. making him wonder who had such power. It couldn't be a common power, as Naruto was taught by Barakiel, Shamhazai, and Azazel about the basic powers and abilities of this world. The ability to control or use time in such a manner is without a doubt a single user, or maybe a handful. And as most people say, the plot thickens, Naruto thought as he opened up the small knot and read its contents. Dear unone creation is yours to keep it safe like the bond you make. We shall meet when the heavens and earth quake. Black as sin and pure as rain, may the heavens tremble at your name. Bringer of hope and destroyer of fate, may your path be bright though your blade is taint. When the beasts come and you fight, may the love you are surrounded with fuel your might. For as long your light burns bright, the evils of the world will remain in fright. From Ami. Naruto blinked as he read the very short note. What an incredibility vague note. Also, what's with the fucking stupid riddle? Naruto thought as he tapped on his forearm, confused on what it means. Shrugging, Naruto went along with the idea someone somewhere is pulling his leg. He needed to return the spear so it would be in the correct hands and where it belongs. With the Shintos. A faction Naruto had not the pleasure of meeting, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to meet them. After all, their leader is a woman whom can manipulate the universe around and possibly summon fires strong enough to be used in outer space, yet he isn't too keen on pissing of a woman whom can lay waste to an entire country without so much as breaking a sweat. Ring ring. Ring ring. Ring ring. Answering his phone, Naruto saw it was Shamhazai calling him. Hey Shamhazai, how are you doing? Naruto answered the phone, not caring if he is overheard. Naruto, I have some bad news for you, Shamhazai said on the other end of the line. Raising an eyebrow, Naruto wondered where Shamhazai is going with this. Get suited up and come back to base. We're going to war against Shamhazai said to Naruto, making the young male's eyes widen in surprise. Sitting down at a desk, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze had just finished writing a letter to the few important people in his life. Sitting within an abandoned shack in the middle of nowhere with a dimly lit candle, the master assassin and our cadre looked outside to what shall be known as Fallen and House of Frost War. Naruto was currently located in an underpopulated chain of islands near the coast, South American. Being sent here to assassinate the leaders of the House of Winter, whom are a mix of vampires, ghouls, rogue fallen, and stray exorcists whom banded together to create a possible threat. Which they have become a threat, just ignored by other factions unless you're in Grigori. Well, now they are seen as a threat, as Naruto was sent here to not only assassinate their leaders but take back the treasures they've stolen from the fallen and protect the human population not too far by plane or jet. They also had the use of human military equipment such as a military navy aircraft carrier which had a total of 12 fighter jets on it, a nuclear submarine, and the fact they have at least in total worth of 3,000 mindless humans, ghouls, and other drones as their frontline fighters. How they went unnoticed by the other factions is completely beyond Naruto. They had a nuclear-powered submarine for Kamisake. How in the living hell did they get their hands on a submarine with a nuclear reactor? Sighing, the master assassin rubbed his headache away. I will never understand the minds of some factions. If they set up that nuclear reactor like a nuke, and it goes, then it will be like setting off 2 atom bombs at once, which could very well destroy more than just a city. I pray they don't intend to use that submarine as a bomb. If they do, thousands if not millions of lives are at stake, Naruto thought as he rubbed his hands together and looked at the sun slowly going down. Blowing out the candle, Naruto grabbed Harmony and Discord and walked out the door. This was going to be an uphill battle. Time passes. Another year has pasted in the world, hasn't it? A male thought as he looked towards the stars. To his side is a part of his squad that he has been fighting with since this little war began. Though it was not without its ups and downs. While the war was ending swiftly and quickly thanks to himself, Barakiel, and a newer fallen named Connor that joined Naruto. The said newer fallen was under Naruto's tutelage. It was not without a cost. Some of the men that had joined Naruto in freeing this land from an insane vampire scientist had lost their lives. Though one could not help but respect these men whom are fighting overwhelming odds and yet have won battle after battle. Of course, it wasn't really over till Grigori had terminated every one of those so-called leaders. Fighting against the makeshift house that controlled this island was annoying, as they had an army of ghouls for their frontline soldiers and a few higher-class beings for their leaders. Truly, he thought he would be back home or staying with Yusaka. Maybe I should ask her out on a date, he mused as he heard another explosion off in the end, checking his gear. The male looked outwards to the tattered battlefield, seeing the bodies of supernatural and mortal alike as their blood created a river. This is it, he thought before he gotten up and dusted himself off. Hardening his features, he dashed through the woods at inhuman speed. This was the last push he was allowed to fight, and as rumors of a newer unknown fallen was already spreading. Something which Azazel clearly made an effort to keep Naruto's existence secret from the other factions as best he could. This small bloody war, while had not attracted a lot of attention, did spread out a lot of rumors about Naruto himself. Though they were nothing more than theories some people made up as Naruto fought in the war. No one really knew who he is or what faction he is in. They didn't even know of his status as a seraph fallen angel, not his connection to Grigori. Which on the bright side is a good thing. Moreover, he was tasked with staying hidden during the said war. A ghost or a shadow to Barakiel as he fought in the limelight, while Naruto struck and killed in the shadows. But like Naruto said, he was a rumor or closer to a spooky myth than anything. Grigori Base. Standing in front of Azazel, Naruto stood worn out from the stress that the last major battle has brought him. Disarming a nuke linked to a nuclear reactor, and add to the fact it had enough force to equal 100 megatons of destructive power, was nerve-wracking. Sure, Naruto could level a city much like a nuke, but his attacks wouldn't leave any harmful radiation. Thankful most if not all factions ignore human-made weapons unless they are enhanced in some form with magic or similar nature. Most factions avoid or are not interested in such technology as magic. Certain spells moreover have the potential to have more destructive power than a nuke or exceed the destructive force any nuke can never hope to match. Naruto and Azazel, for example, can level a city in one attack with a powerful attack. Of course, if both Seraph Fallen really went at it, they could destroy more than just a city. Barakiel and Shemhazai themselves can destroy quite a bit, if not more than half a city. Please tell me you gotten rid of that damn nuke, Naruto asked with a twitch in his eyes as Azazel nodded, letting Naruto know the nuke was gone. Sighing in relief, Naruto let his body relax as the long battles and the war took a toll on him. Of course, saving the lives of millions of people depending on you not to fuck up would stress you out too. Don't worry, Naru, it's sitting at the bottom of the deepest trench on Earth. Not even the mermaids can swim that deep without suffering fatal damage. But that isn't why I called you here. First off, damn good job on stopping the war from getting out of hand and completing your task without a hitch, Azazel said as he handed the boy some tea. Naruto sat down across from Azazel. Grateful for the tea, Naruto sipped it as the herbal mix soothed his being. Azazel sees Shemhazai comes in with Barakiel, both whom nod at their leader. Naruto greeted the two fallen with a nod as they too sat down, releasing a sigh of relief. The four great fallen all glad that the small bloody war was finally over. Never in my lifetime would I have thought we were able to go to war with the other factions being so ignorant, Barakiel said as he sat up and made him a cup of tea. Shemhazai also made in a cup as he nodded in agreement. Barakiel honestly expected to have one of two factions aware of that small bloody war. But to his surprise, not any factions care about the third world countries. Not even the other major factions cared what was happening. Which made the four great fallen rethink about a lot of things. Ignorance is bliss, they say. Though no doubt this whole thing will echo throughout the supernatural world. Finally that it was over, Shemhazai said as he sipped some tea. Azazel nodded as he thought up the next course of action. He needed to keep Naruto hidden as long as he could from the other factions. If the factions ever found out about the super fallen angel, then Azazel will be on the receiving end of many questions he'd rather not answer. Now with that being said, Azazil's goal was to get Naruto trained in enough to handle other types of magic and defend himself against anything magical. Which, while slow and an intense process, Naruto had made great strides in his training no matter the subject. That, and he is very lazy after completing the Fallen Guardian system, which only Azazel himself and Naruto have the set of pieces. Barakiel and Shemhazai will get their set at a later date. The date being when they finally get their final wing set, which won't be long, with Naruto aiding Barakiel and Azazel helping Shemhazai. But the Fallen Guardian system itself is much better than the Evil Peerage system. A lot fucking better than the Evil Peerage system. Oh, how Azazel secretly wishes to see the face of all four Satans when they find out the Fallen made something far better than their system. I want to know how in the hell did they get all those supplies, weapons, men, and monsters. Such a movement should have gotten someone's attention. There is also no possible way an independent third party built all that up in a short amount of time without a major backing, Barakiel said as Naruto nodded in agreement. Barakiel is right, a nuke, a nuclear-powered submarine, at least 3,000 different types of mindless monsters. Which are not that easily made or summoned in that vast amount. Plus highly trained human soldiers from all sorts or backgrounds and beliefs. A massive amounts of guns, magical items, a philosopher's stone, plenty of food and supplies to feed at least 2 armies, and not to mention they had built a place underground with the front doors being at least 2 feet thick of solid alloy steel. Those type of supplies along all that weaponry had at least a major supplier, Naruto said with a troubled look. What? You mean one of the major factions? Azazel asked with a disappointed look on his face. Naruto frowned as that didn't make much sense to him in the slightest. His spy network would have caught something if a major supernatural faction was involved with something like this. But he didn't find any sort of connection to any supernatural beings while fighting in that war. No, this was something different. No, more like a major country. While the mass of the human population isn't aware of the supernatural, it doesn't mean the governments, or those in power, aren't aware of us existing. It is possible that a faction led solely by humans are moving about, massing power, supplies, and weapons. Unlike the hero faction or something similar, we will have to worry about normal humans building an army for the sole purpose to capture, study, manipulating, and control supernatural entities to combat us or other factions. Taking into account we would have to comb through small disappearances, Naruto said, throwing an idea out for the others to ponder on. Azazel frowned at this theory. Yes, it did make some sense, but why were all those supernatural beings fighting in the war? What was their goal? There are too many questions and not enough answers. Impossible, but that would take massive effort on. So it would have to be more than one government doing this. The other supernatural factions are solely worried about other supernatural factions. Barakiel, I want you to follow up on this and see what you can learn, Azazel said as Barakiel nodded in understanding. Shemhazai, I want you to keep up to date on the other factions. If even the smallest faction makes a move outside what is normal for them, alert me. Shemhazai nodded at Azazel's command. What about me? Naruto asked, confused. You need to lay low for a bit. Rumors about you have been floating around. While they are not reliable rumors, better safe than sorry, Azazel said as Naruto sighed but nodded. Plus, on the upside, Naruto could see this as somewhat as a vacation for himself. Azazel smirked as the boy. You could always go back to Kyoto and be with Yasaka, you're so fond of, Azazel said in a teasing tone, making the young man to blush. Smirking, Azazel dismissed the two other fallen as Naruto was left alone with Azazel. So in your letter you written before, you mentioned something was changing within you. What did you mean by that, Naru? Azazel asked his student/surrogate son figure. Sighing and taking a breath, Naruto looked at Azazel for a moment before speaking. Azazel, there is something wrong, I don't know what it is. But ever since I left my world and defeated Kage, I've been changing for the most part. Knowledge that wasn't there before in my mind is suddenly there. I can move things without using my gravity manipulation. And I am developing more abilities and I have no idea why. It's honestly not making any sense. Naruto said as he looked at his palm and felt the massive amount of power he keeps hidden and unnoticed by many. Raising an eyebrow, Azazel leaned back into his chair and hummed in thought. My chakra reserves have been expanding ever since I arrived in this world. Mind you, this isn't completely new. But I figured they would have stopped expanding. Also, my magical abilities and powers have also increased, though I doubt it's due to the war, as I haven't had much time to even train in my magic nor any other magical abilities. I am even developing Kekkei Genkai that would normally be impossible for me to even use. It's even cost a little less chakra now to use Kuton, Void Release, than it did a year ago, Naruto said with a somewhat of a lost look. Though confusion is written on the shinobi's face as well. It seems his primordial powers are finally manifesting themselves. At this rate, if I am not careful, Naruto could be on someone's hit list, and I cannot handle losing Naruto. I would mentality and emotionally break, Azazel thought as he nodded at Naruto's statement. I figured this might happen, Azazel said as he sighed and rubbed the back of his head. What do you mean? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Your primordial powers are finally manifesting themselves. Though only to a slight degree as of now. Your fallen angel half had overridden your human half, and now it's casing your primordial half to stir, Azazel said, as he leaned his head on right hand. Naruto waited for Azazel to continue what he meant. Originally in myth, primordials are the race of beings that are impossible to kill and far too powerful for even Trihexa to challenge. They are pretty much all-powerful beings, though it varies among each primordial being. Lady Chaos being the strongest and most powerful of them all. Primordial beings are also one of the few things that can truly kill any god or goddess, no matter how powerful that god or goddess is. Let's take Lady Chaos for example. She is the one being that even my father cowered in fear of her wrath, as she is not only far more powerful, but she predates him. Even if you took Trihexa, Ophis, Great Red, and my father, all four combined wouldn't be enough to take down Lady Chaos. Seeing as you are half primordial, you will have certain powers and abilities that only primordial beings have. One of those overpowering abilities is primordial force manipulation, among others, Azazel said as he remembered the name of that ability only a handful of people have. And not even Ophis, Great Red, and Trihexa have that sort of power. It was simply and truly beyond them. And while his father was without a doubt overly powerful, comparing him to a being like Nyx, Chaos, or another primordial being is like comparing a gnat to the galaxy. And they are among the top 3 most powerful beings Azazel even had the pleasure of knowing. But Naruto? He could very well not only surpass Ophis, Great Red, and Trihexa, but also kill them if he had the right training and the correct teacher. Primordial force manipulation? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Yes, someone like you or Lady Chaos can control, alter, create, and manipulate anything and everything created by the primordial force, the unique source or origin of every universal concept. In other words, the primordial force that had generated everything, giving them the true position of a supreme being. This power goes beyond boundaries of any level or scale and as such can achieve omnipotence. Of course, you're just developing your primordial abilities, meaning you will have other abilities few can even imagination. Azazel paused to take a breath. Primordial force is the primordial energy that originated everything: reality, time, space, life, death, matter, energy, and every possible and impossible concept existing and non-existing in the omniverse, from a single particular to the infinite omniverse. This force/energy is the link that connects and keeps the omniverse and its concepts working as they should. Since this force is the primordial source of everything and the one that connects all, everything has its energy, giving the user control of everything and every concept. Originally you were half human, half primordial, meaning you would have developed these abilities anyway. But now that you're a half fallen and half primordial, there is no telling how powerful you will truly become, Azazel said as he let the news sink in on Naruto. Naruto held an impassive face as he let what he just heard sink into his mind. Of course, no one can teach you how to control the primordial force. You will have to do that on your own, which could take centuries or even a millennia of continuous training and fine-tuning. The only ones possible of teaching you are the primordial gods and goddess, and no one knows where they have disappeared to. Unless they somehow decided to teach you. You are on your own and will have to learn, though trial and error, though I recommend you train sparingly in this ability. And no telling how long it would take you to even manipulate and control the primordial force, Azazel said as he sighed and rubbed his forehead. Until now, your true powers have been sleeping, hibernating deep within you. But now that you're only tapping into your primordial powers, they have begun to stir. As I said before, there is no true telling how powerful you will become. You could even surpass the strongest being that I know, which would put you even more powerful than my own father. It will only be a matter of time and training. But as I said before, without a primordial being to train you, your true potential will be out of reach for quite some time, Azazel said as he looked at Naruto, whom had a look of both curiosity and understanding. I am not too interesting in that much power. Never been that type of person, Naruto thought as he nodded. Naruto at his core never really thrust for power or anything. He moreover thought about him improving himself through training. Adding to the fact he is a knowledge freak and improving his skills than anything. After all, power means nothing to if you couldn't control it. Skill meant nothing if you couldn't refine it. And knowledge meant nothing if you didn't learn from it. So to Naruto, becoming more powerful meant nothing if he didn't have a good reason to draw out that power. He had his assassin skills, archery skills, sage training, shinobi skills, survivor skills, medical skills, intelligence, his clan's weapons, magic, and among other things. Naruto really shouldn't be focusing on training more to master his primordial powers and or abilities. He was still learning to completely master his twilight magic, light magic, holy lightning magic, magic, rune magic, alchemy, and encounter magic. Other than learning new ways to use his abilities and making new techniques. He is too busy for any new type of training. He could put it off for the time being unless something demanded him to train in his primordial abilities. At Naruto's home. Walking into his house hidden away in the Bahamas, Naruto was welcomed to the sight of his lance, Connor Huntsman. The said lance was meditating in the middle of the room, breathing calmly. Half-dressed Naruto saw the scars inflicted onto the young male. Though only 15, Connor showed an amazing amount of determination after Naruto had took the boy under his wing. Connor is a young man with chin-length black hair and piercing blue eyes. With angled face and sharp features, Connor was attractive for his young age. His toned, lean body, though scarred, is that of a swimmer. On his left shoulder blade is a tribal tattoo with the kanji lance surrounded by oddly shaped lines. Of course, this tattoo was simply not normal by any means. But only Naruto and Azazel know the purpose of this tattoo. Connor is currently wearing black cargo shorts with shinobi sandals that Naruto had given him. Attached to his right thigh is a kunai holster, and on his left thigh are 2 storage scrolls Connor keeps with him at all times as instructed by Naruto. Though Connor was just a regular human being without any special talent, Naruto saw potential in the young man that neither Azazel, Shemhazai, or Barakil could not. And while not holding a sacred gear nor anything of great importance, Connor had a brilliant mind when it came to solving problems and thinking things through in a tactical way. Naruto was not worried at all teaching Connor from scratch either. It was actually better he started the boy off from scratch. And while not great at hand-to-hand combat, he wasn't terrible at combat either. Though Naruto had found out something completely interesting when it came to his fallen guardian pieces that was drastically different from Azazel's. For one, Naruto's pieces had given his lance not just a pool of magical energy he could use, but his very own chakra reserves, complete with the chakra network and the whole 9 yards. Naruto wondered what other kind of benefits that his pieces would get. From his observations, Naruto noted a slight healing factor that is slight better than a fallen angel's common healing ability. Though this was nothing special as it wasn't the lance piece special ability. But this slight healing factor was worth taking a note over. This meant Connor could take a slightly more intense training regime as Naruto taught him the essence of combat and how to predict his opponent. It also meant Naruto could teach Connor Senjutsu if the boy ever got up to high Jounin or low Kage level. Though it may be a few years or a decade before Connor can even reach low Jounin level. But then again, Connor might surprise him and reach Jounin level fairly quickly. His reserves are at least high Genin to low Chunin when Naruto had started teaching the boy. Though his control and skill were below the grade of an academy student. That in itself quickly changed when Naruto started teaching the young man in the way of the shinobi and fallen angel arts. He held off any assassin branch of training as that will work as a refinement type of fighting when Naruto teaches him more advanced fighting tactics. That alone was little over almost 6 months ago when Connor joined Naruto willingly. Now Connor has grown, though the growth was slow and steady. The boy was proving not only Barikil wrong but Azazel and Shemhazai wrong as well. He did this by gaining his second set of wings as a fallen angel. Though the road to getting another set is long, Connor showed not willingness to back down. Naruto wasn't worried about Connor's strengths and weakness. "Greetings, Connor. I hoped you rested well after your last mission," Naruto said to his lance as the boy turned around and smiled. Mentor Connor got up and bowed slightly. "I have not realized you returned home." "I was lost in thought," Connor said as the boy smiled with a kind bright smile, not like the broken one he has so long ago. Naruto can see the spark of life and joy return to the boy after it was over, and he learned to slowly open up again. It must have been rough on him going through all those experiments. I can sorta imagine what they did to him, but all that matters now is his health, Naruto thought as he sat down on the couch and sighed. "Tell me, Connor, do you regret becoming a fallen?" Naruto asked as he rubbed his face, wanting the stress to melt away. "I do not. You saved me from dying and healed my wounds. I know I can leave any time I wish without any real form of repercussions," Connor said as he walked to the side and put on his shirt after answering his mentor. "Yeah, that's right. Naruto-san had saved me, a regular human with nothing special. I was sold off, experimented on, beaten, and nearly killed by the others. My body, mind, and soul had experienced a lot of maltreatment. I would have died if not for my mentor," Connor said as he went to make some tea. His thoughts drifted to the hellish 4 years of torment he had endured. He was beyond broken when Naruto had found him. But somehow, someway, Naruto began to piece his mind, body and soul back together again. Heal the broken fragments of him, and repair what damage had been done. Connor had no idea how Naruto pulled such a feat, but he was known as a lead medical chief in the faction. "I really wish you wouldn't think you own a debt to me for saving your life. I was just doing what was right," Naruto said, glancing at his lancer with a single cracked eye. "Perhaps, but ultimately you've given me a second chance at life and the power to stand up and fight back. I think the least I can do is fight by your side for as long as I can," Connor said with a soft smile. Naruto scoffed at Connor, though the great fallen leader hid in a small, barely noticeable smirk. "If that is your choice. While we are still talking, pack some of your things. We are heading to Kyoto by nightfall," Naruto said with ghost of a smile. "Hi, mentor. And stop calling me mentor." "Hi, Naruto-sama. That's worse than mentor." "Forgiven me, master." "Oh, for the love of..." Naruto threw his hands in the air, giving a mock surrender, as he went to go lay down. Connor smirked and chuckled as it was really easy to rile up his commander. Naruto and Connor went about the norm of their day. Naruto sparred with Connor as a routine and to teach Connor how to go hand to hand when he loses his main weapon. Connor went to practice forming his light weapons as Naruto showered and got dressed in a part of his shinobi gear. Pack some of his stuff. Naruto commanded Connor to do the same, which he did by showering, packing, and getting dressed in a similar outfit Naruto is wearing. Both Naruto and Connor are wearing black shinobi sandals with shin guards attached for added protection. Black Umbu cargo pants fitted with extra pockets, and have woven armor within the cloth protecting muscles like the thighs much better. For their shirts they are wearing a short sleeve mesh armor shirt, over that both of them also modified a midnight blue kimono ankle length that has a two-tail appearance. Naruto had also removed the sleeves so they wouldn't get in the way as much. Keeping the kimono closed is a long flowing faded black obi, sash, that also holds one of their weapons he managed to make due to his blacksmith training. Around Naruto's and Connor's waist is a loose leather belt that holds shuriken and Chikuto sword. Their Chikuto sword sits at his waist behind his back. His Chikuto sword is nothing special, a simple dark wood stained finish, is also short than a katana but longer than a wakizashi. His shuriken pouch sits on his right side of his waist. On their forearm are dark hardened leather bracers similar to the umbu ones, though these ones are not gray but are a dark brown. Completing the whole outfit is a cloak similar to the Aratsuki's cloak minus the red clouds and high collar. Instead, the cloak had a hood that hides their faces slight. This cloak also hides their weaponry and gear they are wearing, which is a plus their entire outfit. Nightfall. Looking at the sky, Naruto sighed as he rubbed his head and got ready to fly towards Kyoto, Japan with Connor. This will be his first long-distance flight, and while Naruto can reach Kyoto within 2 hours by himself, Connor has just got the hang of flying and isn't that nimble nor quick. But with time and practice, Connor would be able to get flying down like he did. Granted, Naruto is being a lot more easy or certain parts of Connor's training. Azazel threw Naruto off a cliff while yelling good luck. Mentor Connor voice called out as the beyond Kage level shinobi looking at his two-set wing lance. Naruto looked back towards Connor wondering what wants to say. I was wondering what the yokai of Kyoto are like, and who is this Yasaka? Connor asked curiously. Naruto hummed for a bit before turning his head back forward as they flew through the air at cruising speeds. The weather was nice and the breeze was gentle. Naruto stayed at this speed for Connor's sake, and so he could relax and enjoy the feeling of flight. The yokai are wide and vary. Some are kind and loving, some are twisted and cruel, and some are otherworldly powerful. Yasaka is the leader of the Kyoto yokai faction and is one of the most beautiful women I ever laid eyes on. And to be honest, I am smitten by her in numbering ways. Though I never got the chance to rightfully tell her how I felt or ask her on a simple date. She also had a daughter named Kunu whom she raises with the help of the other yokai. Naruto slightly explains the yokai faction of Kyoto a bit. Though vague, it was enough to satisfy Connor. What about Kunu's father? Connor asked with a questioning voice. From what I can tell, that subject should never be brought up in a conversation. I do not know what happened, to be honest. But I do know he hurt Kunu and Yasaka to the point Yasaka hates him and Kunu gets really depressed whenever she thinks about him. At least that is what I picked up on, Naruto said while still looking forward. Connor nodding in understanding, though the young teenager tightened his fist whenever he thought of his own parents. Naruto could feel a deep loathing and hatred stir in Connor's heart due to his negative emotion sensing abilities from Kurama. I wonder if the Bijou are still sleeping within me. I can still use their abilities. I hope they are okay, Naruto thought as him and Connor neared Kyoto. Mentor, what will my training regime be for this month? Connor asked as Kyoto came into view. Parkour, Naruto said, simply getting a confused look from the former human being. Landing in an abandoned ally, Naruto made his wings disappear from sight even though he kept his power suppressed to the point only one set of wings would be seen at any given time. Connor landed beside him and did the same though he couldn't suppress his powers like Naruto could. Connor, I want you to take a tour of the city and get your bearings of the buildings. I will have some things to do before we rent a hotel. Call me if you need anything, Naruto said as the young man nodded and ran off to explore the city. Reaching for his phone, Naruto quickly called Shemhazai. Hearing someone answer the phone, Naruto sighed in relief. Yes, Naruto, what's wrong? He heard Shemhazai's voice on the other end. Shemhazai, I have a request for you. The type of request you can't tell Azazel about, Naruto said with a calm tone in his voice. Sure, what is it? Have you ever run into this House of Winter before? Or at least have a book to what the name means? Naruto asked the elder fallen whom hummed in thought. I can't recall off the top of my head, but I am sure I have a book somewhere as the house does ring a bell. Other than what you found at the base you all but destroyed. They or the members of the House of Winter didn't leave much for us to go on. Only a few files on their experiments, a couple supplies logs, and a bunch of computer stuff. But all information on the hard drives were completely wiped clean and all data destroyed. They must have been planning to abandon that place for quite a bit, Shemhazai explained as he messed with something on the other line. So basically we have nothing to go on and there might be other groups amassing power as we speak, Naruto said with his voice low, all the while keeping his sense on high alert if anything happens or needs his attention. Indeed. I am not 100% sure, but someone or something is moving behind the scenes and pulling strings. From my guess, this could either a coy and nothing to worry about, or a facade to something bigger. Either way, with not much to go on and our tech swamped as it is, I think taking a step back and waiting would be in the Grigori's best interest, Shemhazai said, unwrapping something on his end. I understand. I will let you guys know if my spies find anything, Naruto said. How is that network of your spies working anyway? Weren't you worried they were in danger? Shemhazai said as he started to mess with metal that made clinking sounds. I briefly contacted all my spies and they are all unaccounted for. Thankfully no one is in any danger. But we still have to deal with the turncoat, Naruto said with an uneasy tone. Don't worry, Naru. Azazel already has someone in mind but no solid proof, Shemhazai said without a care in the world. Okay, I should get going. The yokai whom aren't used to Connor are bound to have noticed him by now. Make sure the rookie doesn't die. Got it, Naruto replied before hanging up. Using a combination of his shinobi and assassin skills, Naruto raced through the city undetected looking for his wayward rookie. Thankfully Naruto was also a sensor-type shinobi, so it did not take long for him to find his student/Lance. Walking at a distance unnoticed by several including Connor, Naruto watched as Connor helped a few elderly people with their groceries. Smirking, Naruto was glad his rookie was doing some good. Walking to the young man, Naruto caught a falling piece of fruit with his unnatural reflexes that were honed through years of hard brutal training and fine-tuning his skills. Mentor Connor smiled as he finished helping packing the car. Connor Naruto smirked as the king and Lance was thanked greatly by the elderly couple. Naruto waved them off and Connor simply stated you're welcome to both of them. It nice to help people, isn't Mentor? Connor asked his king. Hi, come we have an appointment with a Kishjun, Naruto said as he led them both to Yasaka's home. Enjoying the walk to Yasaka's home was an interesting endeavor. Naruto was greeted by some yokai that he had become friends with while others didn't trust him per se. They know better to cause trouble and avoided the two fallen with a wide spread. Connor however kept asked he could try the various treats and snacks they kept passing. And like a guardian with their charge, Naruto bought a few snacks for the reincarnated fallen. Naruto also taught Connor how to further memorize the lay of the city and all the non-supernatural beings that live within Kyoto. The massive city was impressive and Connor seemed to massively enjoy the route they were taking. While Connor was young, Naruto didn't spoon-feed him, but he didn't drown him in his training either. Naruto felt somewhat responsible for the young man, so Naruto made sure that Connor enjoyed a life worth living before he stopped aging at 17 to 19. Naruto himself stopped aging physically at age 18, even though his real age is 20. And he could possibly life twice as long as any angel, or fallen. With his Uzumaki life force, 2 Shinju fruits, all 9 Biju, his primordial hybrid half, and his fallen angel half. Naruto couldn't possibly grasp how long he will truly live. He does know he is the most powerful fallen angel, which is why Azazel given him the super fallen angel title like 2 of them now have the super devil title. Which is something that annoyed Naruto slightly. But he had ignored most of the titles and nicknames he had gotten over the course of staying in this world. Beyond light and darkness, a light within the darkness, bringer of hope or despair, king of the abyss, and several other titles that suit Naruto's name, skill, knowledge, or even his unique status that still baffles Azazel as to why Naruto has the abilities that he does. Of course, Naruto kept most if not all his power secret. Azazel kept up-to-date tabs on Naruto's skills and is shocked to find out Naruto could very belong in the top 10 existences in the world. But Naruto could become strong and powerful enough to even match Trihexa, Ophis, and Great Red. Which is why Azazel stressed so much on keeping Naruto hidden. Naruto was a gold mine. He had some abilities you couldn't find anywhere at all. He could use every type of magic he was being trained in. He could use some of the same magic pure angels could, and the same could be said for the devil's magic. No matter the wound Naruto had received, he would quickly regenerate from it, and be able to get back up, even if he was stabbed in the heart. He had started developing telekinesis along with several other powers of similar nature. That year he fought in the war. Naruto had developed Kekkei Genkai and Kekkei Toda native to the elemental nations he had came from, which surprised Naruto when he was able to use Dead Bone Pulse and the Byakugan. More abilities just developed more and more as Naruto figured it was due to the 2 Shinju fruits he had eaten, so to speak. But what he didn't expect was the continuous evolution of his powers and abilities. Azazel was not joking when he said that there would be no telling how powerful he will become. Naruto just thought he was smoking some really good grass or finally got a girlfriend. Nope, Azazel expected Naruto would develop almost every ability possible, and some that no one has ever seen before. Mentor, you're making that face again, Connor said in a whisper. Ah, sorry Connor, just thinking on what Azazel said. Naruto spoke calmly as they were only 2 blocks away. What did Azazel-sama say? The younger fallen asked in a curious tone. He said thanks to my unique status. There is no telling how powerful I will truly become. I thought he was just pulling my leg at first with more of his crazy theories. However, now that I am developing powers and abilities that originate from not just this world but my old world, I wonder what will happen to us now. I know one day you, I, and the fallen guardian pieces will be discovered. I just hope nothing negative happens, Naruto said as he looked at his right palm and saw the sun marking Don't worry, mentor, I have your back. And with time we can gather allies. You are my king, but more importantly, you are my first and only friend, Connor said as Naruto chuckled a bit and nodded. Comrades, Connor, I do not wish to be a king, I only wish for this senseless Cold War to end and for everyone to live a better life. It might seem cliché, but I honestly want to see everyone happy and not have children worry about a war looming over the horizon. No child, no matter the age, should have to fight in a war. But the sad reality is that many don't care about the hand others are dealt when they are born. Older men declare war, but it is the youth that have to fight and die, Naruto said as they came up to the gate that is the entrance. Connor frowned as memories resurfaced from the time he was basically a lab rat trapped in that iron cage and only feed enough food to keep him weak but alive. He could clearly remember some of the others that had went insane, and how few even died during the Project the Scientist. Connor could remember the beatings he received and the violation of his body due to men whom worked there. He could remember the shouts and still smell the chemicals they used to test on him and his fellow subjects. It wasn't until Naruto had broken into the facility and killing every guard, soldier, scientist, and work there. From asking Barrakill, Naruto was sent in to clear the way while the main force acts as a detraction. By the time Naruto had broken into the holding cell area, most of the guards were too busy dumping data and other research. Naruto's task was to get the kids in the holding cells out and into a safe distance. Of course, with most if not all the patients being mental insane. Naruto's mission didn't go as planned when he had finally found the holding cells. When Naruto had found him, Connor was on the brink of death and already given up. He had been broken like the others and he was on the brink of insanity as well. Naruto had only made it out with 4 of 200 kids he was supposed to save. In Naruto's eyes it was both a failure and a success, as he was able to save a few, but he personally wanted to save all the kids. A handful of guards heavy armed with a light machine gun started killing each and every kid in their cell without remorse. In fact, several guards joined in the killing until Naruto had came in and saw an entire room bathed in blood and gore. Lucky, Naruto was gifted at healing and massage to save Connor and 3 others from that abyss. Connor still doesn't understand a lot of things, but he understood when he was on death's door and no one was around. Naruto had came to his aid when he was perfectly alright with dying then and there. No angels from heaven to save him, no demons from hell to sell his soul to so he can live, and no major army from countries such as China, U.S., Russia, England, France, or any other well-known country. Just Naruto, a half-fallen and half-primordial whom was at seraph level, possibly higher. A dark angel, a fallen one, and most important, a being whom will do whatever is right, even if it meant driving into hell to save someone he knew was important to him. Naruto was just that type of leader to Connor. Naruto stopped moving as he felt Connor's emotions flip and flop back and forth between a great amount of hatred to immense respect. Looking at the rookie fallen Naruto given Connor a comforting look that seemed to make all that negative emotions die down a bit. Walking up to a yokai that guards Yasaka's home, Naruto smiled politely as the guard's eyes widened. And Naruto-sama, you're back, the yokai said, referring Naruto as one of 4 fallen angel lords. Hello Yuki, is Yasaka or Kuna home? Naruto asked softly as he wore a kind smile. Sorry Naruto-sama, both Lady Yasaka and Lady Kuna are in an important meeting, Yuki said while Naruto nodded in understanding. It wasn't uncommon for both Yasaka and Kuna to attend meeting together. Naruto, however, remained hidden within the compound that is Yasaka's home. A meeting with who? Naruto asked out of curiosity. I am not sure. It's none of the other factions from what I was told. It could be possible she is locked in a meeting with the heads of the yokai clans, Yuki said with a thinking pose, to which Naruto nodded. Very well, please pass on a message to Yasaka I will be staying at the hotel near here and that I have returned from my long-term mission, Naruto said kindly as Yuki nodded in a rapid fashion. Naruto looked at Yasaka's home as he closed his eyes to sense those who are inside. He found out that it was indeed the Yoki clan heads, but the atmosphere was heavy. It made the hybrid fallen question what is happening in there. Naruto, gripping Connor's shoulder, whom had been silent through the conversation, disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Appearing in an ally of a hotel, Naruto and Connor checked into a hotel. The rookie was mostly tired from the long flight from Naruto's private home to Kyoto, Japan. Crashing on the bed, Connor groaned in relief. Naruto sat on his bed in a thinking pose. Hey mentor, you've been thinking a lot lately, is something on your mind? Connor asked as he shifted to look at his king, even though Naruto denies the title. Yes, I have several things on my mind, Connor. But they are for me to worry about. I want you to focus on your training. You still have a ways to go before I send you on solo missions, Naruto said calmly as he laid on the bed relaxing finally. Connor nodded as he still had trouble handling some of the more complex skills or tasks. Simple spells such as the signs that Naruto had taught him were simple enough to learn along with the 3 basic ninjutsu techniques. I see. If I may mentor, how do you handle the killing? Connor asked with a troubled face. Naruto closed his eyes for a moment as he sat up, and with a poof of smoke Reiju could be seen in its saya. Connor looked at the legendary blade that helped his master slay and kill over 2,000 men and women. Picking up the sword, Naruto admired the beauty of the blade within his hands. The saya of Reiju is a midnight blue color, and is a mix of metal and wood, holding his sword within his sheath. The sword is longer than a katana and looks somewhat similar to a katana in style and design, though it looks almost like Raiden's sword from Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. The sword holds no guard yet, and somewhat modeled like a Shirasea sword. The handle itself also looks like Raiden's sword, though the add-on of the Uzumaki clan crest is on both sides of the end of the handle, which Naruto didn't mind. Drawing the sword from its saya, Naruto smiled as Connor is in awe at the light blue taint the blade given off, as small bits of lightning arcing along the blade lengthen, giving the blade an aura of danger. The blade is also not curved greatly. If anything, the blade itself is only ever so slightly curved and sleek, which still allows for the sword to be used just like a normal katana blade, though it will cut though anything like a hot knife though butter. Also, another thing Connor noticed about the sword is that it's giving off a low yet dangerous humming sound, which Naruto knows shows that the blade is vibrating at a high speed. Sliding Reiju back into its saya, Naruto laid the blade on his lap. As you know, this is Reiju, my very own Uzumaki blade. What you do not know that it's indestructible, can never dull or rust, and can cut through anything the blade comes into contact with. Which is why its saya is specially designed to hold Reiju. The day I found this weapon was the day I made a vow in honor of my deceased relative that made Reiju, and given me his Uzumaki blade, Death's Phantom, Naruto said as he paused for a bit. Connor's eyes widened a bit, knowing whenever Naruto wields Death's Phantom, he is untouchable and can go through objects. Just like a ghost or phantom, hence the name of the Deathly Blade. I believe in many codes. I am assassin of the Order of Assassins and former shinobi of Konohagakure no Sato. I trained most of my life in the shinobi and assassin arts. And my core belief is in the hope that killing one individual will lead to the salvation of thousands. I also believe that I fight on the behalf of those who do not possess the abilities, resources, or knowledge to speak out against those who abuse their power. I follow a set of creeds, tenets if you will. They are not my religious beliefs but a moral code I hold myself to as a living being, Naruto said as Reiju disappeared in a poof of smoke. I cannot teach you how to handle the burden of taking a life. Taking a life is one of the heaviest burdens one can carry. And no matter how much people try to glorify that you're a hero or that you're a soldier, killing is still killing, no matter what you are killing, be it angel, devil, human, or alien. And no matter your religion, background, skin tone, race, or even justified reasons. I am still a murderer and a killer, and nothing will change this fact. The angels have just as much blood on their hands as the devils do, and nothing can change the amount of blood spilled, Naruto said as he took a serious face. Connor only could shakily nodded as he listened intently. I also believe in free will and freedom of choice. This, in conjunction with moral relativism, are the guiding motives behind my drive for cultural diversity and free will. I or assassins like me perceive societal norms and conventions as artificial structures that can hinder one's partiality and lead to prejudices. These false boundaries include but are not limited to national borders, gender, ethnicity, social class, and race. As a result, assassins oppose discrimination of virtually every kind, with physical abuse and slavery being especially abhorrent. Naruto spoke in a wise-like tone as Connor sat down and truly listened to his king. Because of this, I train so hard and work so hard for not just the sake of those around me but for the betterment of those whom truly need it. If I could do something to help someone or save someone, I am taking that shot, no matter how hard or how impossible it might be. Sadly, the world is filled with those who rather do harm than good. They rather wage war and cause bloodshed than treat the sick or help those in need. Such people are the very people I despise and hunt down, Naruto said as leaned back on his guest bed. This world can offer so much more than misery, pain, war, and bloodshed. But remember, Connor, all your choices and actions have a consequence to them. So when you are about to take another life, always remember what have driven you to that action. Cause if you kill someone, you are forever stuck with the burden and weight of that person's life you taken. Never stain your hands with the blood of an innocent. And those you kill, make sure they are more of a monster than you are, Naruto said as he laid back down, and Connor sat in silence for a few moments. After a few moments, Naruto heard Connor had went to sleep. Looking at the young man, Naruto felt a small pang of guilt. Connor does not deserve this type of life. He was not meant to be a warrior or soldier. But here he is, training hard day in and day out to become stronger. Naruto could truly say Connor had given everything his all. From training in shinobi and fallen arts and aiding Naruto with his responsibilities. He didn't have to choose this lifestyle, as he was free to leave before he was turned into a fallen. He is still free to leave even after he was turned. Meaning while Connor could leave any time, he isn't bound to Naruto like a newly born devil would be to their king. That is a major difference between the evil peerage system and the fallen guardian system. Due to Naruto's Fuinjutsu skill, many of the newly turned fallen won't be able to turn into hideous monsters like some of the rogue devils. Instead of relying on the king of the evil peerage system, a very powerful seal appears on the body of the newly turned fallen. Which is why Connor has that lance and kanji on his body. It's actually a seal keeping the fallen angel essence in check. This way the magical power doesn't turn Connor into a raging monster. This given the newly turned a chance to live a normal life if they wish while having just enough abilities to protect themselves. It's a really complex seal and how the fallen guardian system works, but that is the bare bones of it. It took forever for Naruto to come up with the correct sealing formula for each shogi piece, as no piece had the same sealing formula. This was decrease the chances of someone breaking the seal which is protected by another seal, farther decreasing the chances of the seal being broken by anyone other than Naruto himself. The seal itself will fade away once the newly turned has full control over their magical abilities. But this fading of the seal varies person to person, king to king, and shogi set to shogi set. Naruto, being unnaturally more powerful of the four great fallen, has what is called twilight mutation pieces. These pieces hold an additional unknown benefit to the newly turned fallen. For Naruto's set, they weren't just given a fallen's magical abilities, but all of his pieces can use chakra very much like Naruto and a chakra network, which is perfect for Naruto's set as he can train any of his pieces in the shinobi arts. Being the second sage of 6 paths allows Naruto to be connected to his pieces through his chakra and understand each other's emotions and thoughts. This small ability of Nishu is solely found in Naruto's pieces. Azazel has a 2 gold general twilight mutation pieces, but it is unknown what their extra benefit is. Other than each piece unique trait or ability, not much else was added to the fallen guardian system. Connor is a lance piece, meaning on top of his chakra and chakra network benefit that he gets from the twilight mutation piece, he also gets the lance common trait of his body tissue being supernatural dense for added protection, while passive and renders some movement difficult to make. Connor managed to overcome this small limitation with some intense training by Naruto. Connor's supernatural dense tissue allowed him to immune to damage to a degree that allowed him to take a beating others would be crippled from. But however, there is downside to this ability. Connor's is notably heavier than his overall size would suggest. He is not completely invulnerable, and there is a limit to the punishment he can take. Some of his flexibility and speed was sacrificed for strength and durability. This leading Naruto to teach Connor to be more of an assault type than an assassin type. Connor overcame some of his flexible problems by training with Naruto to become more flexible. His flexibility problem became less of a problem as he advanced in his training. Something Naruto is quite proud in Connor. He couldn't be the boy's father, but he could be a teacher, someone that helps him, and has his back no matter how tough things will get. Naruto honestly wondered if it would be enough. He has seen a lot in this world and the elemental nations, and he can honestly say that if it wasn't for certain people in his life or the friends he made, he wouldn't be who he is today, nor would have he met Connor, saved thousands of people, and a whole list of other things. Sure, being on the fallen side was iffy and annoying due to Azazel, but it was already becoming home now. Closing his eyes and letting his senjutsu mode take over, Naruto slept in a blissful sleep. Morning. Naruto is walking around Kyoto as he enjoyed the crisp morning that Kyoto always had. Smiling faintly, Naruto felt the yokai whom live in a certain section of the city. He could also sense Yusaka and Kunu walking around the city with his passive senjutsu abilities. Connor had been called back by Barakil so he could train with a squad of young fallen angels. Also that Barakil could teach Connor a few things about magic combat. Something that Naruto didn't need since he was able to go against Madara Uchiha in a straight taijutsu. Well, he matched and bested Madara Uchiha in taijutsu, so he really didn't need any type of hand-to-hand combat training. His taijutsu skills had only improved as time, and more training had been adding to his training regime. But what troubles me is I am developing every single Kekkei Genkai from my world, and some abilities only a handful have, Naruto thought with a small frown. He wouldn't be as troubled by it if he had a way to use all the abilities he has. But elements like lava release, steel release, and a few others, he has no way of controlling them at will. Granted, he still have all his father's and mother's books and they have ton of information on the elemental releases. He would need to work up on his chakra control. With his chakra reserve still growing and expanding, Naruto needed to work on his chakra control every day. And while he has medical shinobi level control, his control can slip, leaving him with few medical ninjutsu he can actually use. Some of his abilities require him having perfect control over his chakra, therefore it was a bitch to even keep his chakra control the same. But at least that was the least of Naruto's worries. I can clearly sense Yusaka-chan and Ku-chan, Naruto thought as he followed their signatures throughout the massive city. He was getting close to the yokai section of the city, so he kept his hood up and his face partially hidden from view. Granted, this is for any of the devils or other supernatural beings that are in the city. Naruto stopped his pleasant stroll when he saw someone that caught his eye, more particular their scent had gripped his attention. It was a teenage girl's scent that caught his attention, as she smells like blood and iron instead of flowers or some kind of perfume. She is a slender teenage girl noted for being attractive. She has dark straight hair cut into a bob and long bangs that reach her chin, covering the right side of her face. On the outside, she is considered a cute, normal girl that one wouldn't suspect to be a supernatural being. Her facial features and hairstyle bears a resemblance to both a male and female. She currently wears our casual clothes, our tomboyish streetwear. Naruto watched her from afar, and she seemed to have noticed him as she turned to him after hearing a commotion happen in the shop he was standing near. Both the super fallen angel and the unknown female shared a look before Naruto walked into a way. Naruto had a gut feeling he would have another encounter with that teen girl, but his mind is on finding Yusaka. Which didn't take long, as she was walking around with little Ku-chan. Smirking, Naruto walked a fair distance away. The yokai whom had spotted him waved a friendly greeting as they knew the fallen angel of Kyoto. Naruto had made a name for himself, and he honestly wondered how long until at least one other faction takes notice. Or these people are really ignorant to the world around them, but I doubt that, Naruto thought as he stopped right behind Yusaka and Kunu with a trickster's smirk on his face. The yokai whom spotted this smirk just only smiled, seeing Lord Naruto having fun messing with people. "Hello you two, lovely as ever," Naruto said in a complete and cool calm voice as time seemed to freeze as Yusaka and Kunu stopped what they're doing. In some kind of horror and slow fashion both turned to see a handsome fallen angel, Naruto Uzumaki. aka Nichan for Kunu. Aka Naruto-kun for Yusaka. "And Naruto-kun?" Yusaka said in a disbelief tone as tears seemed to form. Kunu just stared at Naruto like he'd grown a second head. "I believe I am the only being in all of existence that is half primordial and half fallen. But yeah, I just oof." Naruto was interrupted by two very happy females. Naruto didn't know whether he was dying a happy man from Yusaka's heavenly bust, or the fact Kunu was trying with all her might to crush him in a bear hug. It was both adorable and heartbreaking for Naruto. "And nice to see you both too. But I can't breath," Naruto said in a struggling tone of voice. Sorry, Nichan." Kunu quickly got off Naruto and fixed her outfit. Yusaka mirrored this action, though with more grace and skill than a rushed and hurried. Smack. OW Naruto rubbed the back of his head after the three finally returned to Yusaka's home. "Kuna hasn't let go of his leg yet. Do you know how worried I was?" Yusaka shouted with a very angry yet cute expression. "Well, now I knew what it's like to have a worried loving wife," Naruto said before getting smacked across the head again by a blushing Yusaka. "Oh. Yusaka-chan is being mean," Naruto said in a whining tone as Kuna patted his head. Hugging the girl in a dramatic fashion, he held her close. "Oh Ku-chan, I miss you." "Ka-chan is being mean to Tu-chan," Naruto said as Yusaka blushed deepen and Kunu eyes widen/brighten. "Why, you're really going to be my Otosama now?" Kuna said with the most innocent and hopeful look ever. If one were to reject this, they would have to commit seppuku and having been tortured for nearly 1,000 lifetimes. Naruto blinked for a moment as he looked at Yusaka, whom blushed madly at the thought of being mated to Naruto. It wasn't that Naruto wasn't attractive, far from that. He was kind, understanding, and compassionate, which was rather surprising for Yusaka at first. But he was also dense sometimes and often at times lazy unless it's something he cares for. Naruto deeply cared for Kunu, and any yokai could see that, including Yusaka. Yusaka also wouldn't admit it, but she found Naruto attractive in many ways. No, what causes her to blush this much is the fact he just got back and they already talking about Naruto being Kuna's father. Her heart and body wasn't ready. She could feel her heart pounding away in her chest like a drum of thunder. Naruto took a moment to collect himself and turned to Yusaka. With a soft, gentle smile that disarmed any retort Yusaka might say, Naruto asked the vixen mother a very simple question. "Actually, princess, I was going to ask your mom out to dinner. But from the bottom of my heart, if would love her to be you daddy and protector little Kuna-chan," Naruto said, kissing the girl's head. Naruto kept patting the little girl's head as she cheered at the sky. The most beautiful and happy smile Naruto had seen on the girl's face just seemed to brighten the room. "Kuna-chan, can you go get me all your pictures while I talk to Yusaka-chan?" Naruto said as the little girl rapidly nodded and raced off. Naruto chuckled before turning to Yusaka. I've missed you, Yasaka, Naruto said with a warm smile as Yasaka blushed but nodded. I miss you too, Naruto-kun. It's been quiet without you here, Yasaka said as calmly as possible. She couldn't deny she missed him too. He had become an important person in her life. What had happened to you, Naruto-kun? Yasaka asked as her voice held concern and worry. I was sent into a war zone, Naruto started off before standing only a couple of feet in front of the woman of his affection. I was to fight in a war with this unknown group that calls themselves the House of Winter. It only lasted for so long before we won, but the things we uncovered there made me worry about the future, Naruto said with a troubled face before beautiful sapphires locked with beautiful amber gold. Yasaka had a look of concern learning Naruto had fought in a war. He was so much younger than her, yet he was sent into bloody battles that could take him away from her. And any time she had that thought cross her mind, the thought of losing Naruto had made her heart ache and always felt a painful ping in her chest. It's not fair, you know. Here I am, standing in front of a woman I wish to be with, and I can't find the correct words to explain my feelings. Nor can I find the courage to say I want to be with you. Kinda pathetic, isn't it? I can face a whole army alone and win. But when it comes to personal emotions and feelings, it's like I hit a brick wall that I have trouble overcoming, Naruto said with a low chuckle. Yasaka smiled softly before giving her reply. Then don't tell me, show me your feelings, Naruto-kun. And I will show you mine, Yasaka said as she still had a blush on her face, but she was having 1,000 thoughts race through her mind. Where did that come from? The QB no Yoko thought. But at the same time, her heart is pounding against her chest hard and the feeling of butterflies in her stomach made her worry. Yasaka knew her daughters wished to have a daddy and for her to be happy, but would it really work out? A fallen seraph and a QB no Yoko? Could such a pair work out? What of the other females after my affection? Naruto asked as the distance closed between them. Naruto knew his relationship with Rainer,